Day, the release of the book Ullankayil Udal Nalam, published by Vikadan Pirasuram. The book will be released by Dr. A.S. Manikavell. He runs the Mercury Nursing Home. He was also instrumental in the opening of the Government Homeopathic Medical College. The book will be received by Thiru A. Kumaresan, the Chief Editor of Thikadir. Thank you. Now coming on to the heart of the occasion, there's a talk by Padma Bhushan Professor Dr. B.M. Hegde, the author of the book, on myths and realities on science, health and heart. To say a few words about Dr. Hegde, I think I can go on and on because too much of things. Like you type Dr. B.M. Hegde on Google, the first thing which crops up is he's an Indian medical scientist, educationalist and an author. There's nothing which comes as a doctor or a cardiologist or anything. He is the recipient of several awards, to name a few, Dr. B.C. Roy Award, Padma Bhushan, etc. And he's got too many degrees behind his name. But I can say he's much, much bigger than all these things. And more than that, as everyone said, he's a great humanitarian. In today's world where a patient enters a hospital and comes out with a big list of prescription and investigations, I think he cuts it short down for everyone. I think he'll be a big problem to the medicine industry's pharmaceuticals. I don't know how he manages all those people. Now, over the mic to Dr. Hegde.
All my brothers and sisters, both on the days, off the days, and in the audience, members of the press, friends, I am humbled. Everybody was praising me. I don't know whether I deserve it or not. But one thing I can tell you is, I have no words to speak because after three brilliant speakers have spoken, imagine, my plight this morning. Which is leaning towards you. A straight fence you can climb, but a fence which is leaning towards you, that's why you see the jail fences that leaning towards inside the jail so that nobody can get out. That's the most difficult thing. The next difficult thing is trying to kiss a girl who is leaning away from you. This is impossible. Third most difficult thing is trying to speak after brilliant speakers have spoken. And I am trying the most difficult thing this morning. Having said that, what gives me happiness is that people do not want to be drugged. That's why you are all here. If I was giving a talk on drugs, probably the type of audience would have been totally different. Now I will talk first about health, then about the heart, and lastly about the great thing called science, which makes all of you think that, oh, that's the last word, science. Everything is science now. And the minute you say it is scientific, you believe it. If you say it is not scientific, you don't believe it. We have come to that. I'll tell you all about that in a short time. Though we teachers go by the calendar and not by the clock, today I have decided not to be a teacher and go by the clock for a change. At the outset, let me thank Dr. Venkatraman for getting this work translated to Tamil, because my idea of writing a book or writing any book is that more people read it. It's not actually for making money that books are written in my concept. Actually, more than half of my books are published by the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, where all that I get is gratitude. And it's a charity for the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. Then what happened was, after late Ramakrishnan's death, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan became a very slow bullock cart. It was not moving at all. The books were there stacked up in their library and somebody has to ask for it. Go to their office and ask for it, then only they'll give it. So then I thought it's better to move out of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan to some other commercial publishers, and I realized very quickly that all commercial publishers except Vikadan are there to cheat the writers. This is my experience. But this Vigadan's publication, I like the way they brought the book and priced it at 100 rupees. As I think Venkatraman rightly said, you can't even photostat it for 100 rupees because each one page they say 2 rupees and that's 185 is 386 rupees. But that's good for Vigadan because nobody will certainly, instead of photostating it, they'll buy a book, which is cheaper. See, this is how the world should run because otherwise the world runs for money only. All the follies of any system, whether it is a lawyer, doctor, or a chartered accountant, or a minister, or a politician, why do they do wrong things? For money. That is why William Wordsworth, in the year 1802, wrote a poem called "The World is Too Much with Us." When there was the first industrial revolution in Europe, he said, now with the industrial revolution, man is spoiled. And first 4 lines of that poem I'll let you know. Rest you read because it's a fascinating poem. The poem's name is "The World is Too Much with Us." The world is too much with us, late and soon. Getting and spending, we seem to have lost our powers. Little do we see in nature that is ours. I'll repeat that. Little do we see in nature that is ours. We have lost our soul, a sordid boon. Full stop. And what he has said, what he wrote in 1802 has come 100% true in 2014. Everything here exists for money. Not a single thing here exists for mankind. I always say, I love that word called humanism, which was originally coined by Comte, a great French philosopher. I started a series called Medical Humanism. Because, see, we have to have humanism in every field. Humanism is an activity which ultimately should benefit mankind. That's called humanism. Whether it's business humanism, relationship humanism, economic humanism, whatever you call it, and medical humanism. Our aim should be to do good to patients. If you are a doctor, your primary aim should be to see that your patient, if possible, goes home straight. Now, very interesting study was done. We now claim that we have advanced so much in medicine that we can even get a dog's heart transplanted into man. Paravala. Off pannu. Appadi. Illa off agala. Adu koncha jaasti press panna off aidum. Permanent off aidum. Adukappuram varum. So, there was a study done in Johns Hopkins Hospital in 1940 and 1999. A good 50 years difference. The number of people per capita who went into the hospital, came back alive and came back on the stretcher, go to the crematorium, almost remained the same, and which was slightly worse in 1999 compared to 1940. This tells you all about what we do today. Cancer area, for example. We say now we have got everything for cancer. There's nothing to worry about cancer at all. Christie's Hospital is the oldest cancer hospital in Manchester. The first cancer hospital. And they have their records kept. Every record from the day it started till today, except 1940 and 41, 2 years when London was so badly bombarded by the German bombers. They don't have proper records, rest they have the records. Somebody audited one simple disease, chronic myeloid leukemia, one disease. 2 slots, 1900 and 1940, 1950 and 1990. Both same area, number of years. Very interesting thing is, 1900, 1940 we didn't have any medicine, any treatment for chronic myeloid leukemia except TLC, tender loving care. 1990, 1950, 1990, we had so many treatments. Splenectomy, this, that, busulfan, so many things. Now, audit shows, in the second half, we sent more people to meet their maker in heaven than in the first half. Very simple thing. Now I'll come to science. we think human body runs according to our linear mathematics. We give a patient with cancer every day 4 milligrams of busulfan. Okay, every day we give it. Patient takes it faithfully because we said don't miss a dose, but most of them miss it. That's why many of them are alive. Actually, a study showed in America, there's a journal called Drugs, which is a very prestigious journal. A study showed that if you give any patient one tablet to be taken once a day, the compliance is 76%. Did you now get this correct? If I ask you to take one tablet every day faithfully, 24% of you will forget it. One day or the other you forget. But when it becomes 2 tablets to be taken twice a day, the compliance is 46%. When it is more than 3 tablets per day, the compliance is 23%. Did you get it? That means 77% of the people do not take regularly drugs prescribed if there are more than 3 drugs in the laundry list that we always give. But today, 3 drugs is very rare. You have about 13, 14, 15, 18, 19 drugs. So you can imagine how many of the, what percentage of them take the drugs. Now I'll give you the side effects of the drugs. Adverse drug reaction is the commonest cause of death in America. America is the only country where there are good statistics kept. 4 jumbo jet load of human beings die every month due to adverse drug reactions, ADR. In last year, 1 million people, that is 10 lakhs Americans, America's whole population is about 1/4 of Indian population. You can imagine that, 300 million. Out of the 300 million, 1 million died of adverse drug reactions. 79 million people got admitted to the hospital because of adverse drug reactions but did not die. This is the number that we are aiming to increase because these 79 million people who came with drug reactions are the people who got the hospital industry $80 billion profit. Just imagine that. So, an Indian doctor in America, a surgeon, has written a book on how surgery happens and how to reduce surgical deaths. In that he says, very interestingly, he says that if you probably don't have complications after surgery, many of the hospitals will have to close because their biggest income is surgical complications. I do an operation, let us say I remove the appendix, and the patient goes home after that without anything, I may get some dollars, say maybe $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. Suppose he comes back with the complications several times and needs more and more operations, my income will be enormous. So people want, the hospitals want more complications after surgery. Hospitals want more drug reactions so that they can treat more people. But that's okay. I don't mind they're making money. But I'm worried about people who are sent to meet their maker in heaven by the drugs. Now this, in my calculation, now if you put the 2 calculations together, 77% of the people do not take the drugs that doctors have given. Supposing all of them had taken it, what would be the number that of adverse drug reactions? See, 23% is 1 million. That is 4 jumbo jets every month. Supposing 100% them took it, you require 10 jumbo jets every month die. If 1 jumbo jet falls, 1 small jet falls near Agra, 4 people die. It's been news in every paper and every television. Day before yesterday, one of our Air Force jets fell down. Now every month 4 jets fall down, no paper writes it. Common man doesn't get to read it. And today it is so difficult to convince people not to take drugs. People want drugs. Even if there is a good doctor, there are a lot of good doctors, let me tell you. In all systems of medicine, there are actually majority of doctors are good human beings. There's only a microscopic minority of bad elements who give the system a bad name. Now, these good doctors sometimes don't want to give drugs, but the patients demand drugs. The mother comes with a child which has a common cold. A sensible doctor says, treated cold lasts for 7 days, untreated for more than a week. So, then the mother says, no, you give an antibiotic, my child has to go to school tomorrow, he has got an exam, and teacher will be angry. Now the doctor is forced to give antibiotics, okay, even if he doesn't want it. Now, what happens if you give antibiotics to a viral disease is, antibiotics cannot kill viruses. Antibiotics change the immune system response to the viral disease. Now, as Venkatraman said, my book says there is a good doctor inside. I'll tell about him or her later. But this doctor tries to cure you in most cases. Now, there is a response from the immune system. It's called a cytokine response of T1, which cures the common cold by itself. Now, the minute you give antibiotics, that gets changed to T2, which means it produces vasospasm. It produces bronchospasm. We are manufacturing asthma in the society. The incidence of asthma has gone up so much. Death rate due to asthma has gone up so much that today asthma has become a big problem. I still remember in the 50s when we were students, our textbooks used to say, asthma is a very mild disease, nothing to worry about it. And asthmatics are protected against tuberculosis. So if you are an asthmatic in our time, it was good because you don't get tuberculosis. The dreaded disease was tuberculosis. Today, asthmatics have more tuberculosis than non-asthmatics. Because we give so much of steroids to asthmatics, which depresses the immune system, and TB germs are in our air. So you become a TB patient. Now, there's a very interesting new development. They want every human being to take TB drugs. Somebody was telling me day before yesterday, which I don't know, I have not confirmed yet. Rotary organization has now left polio. They were after polio for a long time. I used to tell them, do you know anything about polio? They don't know. They are Rotarians. Then why do you want to get involved with that? They don't know. Now they are getting involved with tuberculosis, I am told. And for the Rotary organization, நீங்க Rotary? இல்லையா? யாரும் சொன்னாங்க எனக்கு தெரியாது. They are now telling, I believe, all human beings must take anti-tubercular drugs. Anti-tubercular drugs are such powerful antibiotics. And I only pray God that better wisdom prevails on the Rotarians and others, that everybody should not be drugged. Now there's a move in America to put statins into water supply. So everybody's cholesterol is brought down. So that more cancer can be produced, because if you don't, your cholesterol is produced in your own body. And your body is not foolish to produce cholesterol unnecessarily. Only when it is needed, it produces. Supposing, your cholesterol and my cholesterol cannot be the same, because we are not the same. Your own brother's cholesterol and your cholesterol cannot be same. Your own twin's cholesterol and your cholesterol need not be same, because you are not same. So why make everybody same? This is the biggest curse in medical science. We don't know. I don't know what my blood pressure should be. What is normal blood pressure? I don't know. Mahatma Gandhi's blood pressure was 200 by 120 all his life. And the person who was not sleeping was Sushila Nair, his doctor. She has written in her autobiography. The old man was sleeping. And he was killed by blood pressure complications. There's a bullet from Nathuram Godse. See, this is what we do. And I have a very famous doctor in Bangalore. I don't tell the name. You all know him. His blood pressure is always 90 by 40. And he comes to me and says, give me some drug. I said, look, you will live forever. Why worry about it? Nature wanted your blood pressure to be that much. And you are a neurosurgeon. You operate for 12 hours standing. And why are you worried? You are alive. And you will be alive. And thank God he's still alive. He's about 92. So what happens is, now what do? We take the average. Now chartered accountants here. What we do is average blood pressure of human beings. That's a Gaussian curve, mean plus 2 standard deviation. And that we call as normal. Average is converted into normal. Now this is done not without any reason. If when you convert an average into a normal, you get about 25% false positives and false negatives. So about 25% of people who are normal become abnormal. I'll give you an example if you're not understood, because it's complicated statistics, some of the younger generation. What is the average height of Indian male? Gaussian curve, plus minus 2, that's 5.4 inches plus minus 2 inches. So if you're between 5.2 inches and 5.6 inches, you're normal. Did you understand? You are average. Now what do? If you're not normal, we treat you, right? Agreed? If your blood pressure is not normal, you treat. If your height is not normal, we'll treat you. Amitabh Bachchan comes for a common checkup. 6.2, what is the treatment? Cut his leg, make him 5.6. That's exactly what we do. Jaya Bachchan comes for a checkup, 4.6. Transplant that leg to her, she also becomes normal. This is a curse. So friends, I jokingly tell people, don't take it very seriously. If you want health, don't go to the medical establishment. Whether it's homeopathy, umapathy, ajurupathy, allopathy, no pathy. If you want honor, don't go to the police. Don't go to the police station and say, preserve my honor, I am here. He will take money from the gunda and then get you hit. Don't go to the court if you want justice. But having said that, I'll tell you one thing. Even if you have a cold, let us say, even if you cough a couple of times, do not treat yourself. You must have a doctor. I don't know what the specialty of the doctor should be. He can be a homeopath, he can be an allopath, he can be an Ayurvedic man, he can be a Pandit, he can be an RMP, he can be an osteopath, he can be a chiropractic, doesn't matter. Because a study by the WHO in Thailand some years ago showed there are 5 types of medicine practiced in Thailand. Modern medicine, Western modern medicine, pure Chinese medicine, integrated Chinese, Samoa medicine. Samoa medicine is a type practiced in Thailand where the father tells the son when he is dying how he was treating his patients. The son is not supposed to tell anyone else till he dies and then tell his son. So it runs in the family, Samoa system. Then last quacks are everywhere. They call themselves RMPs. Suddenly they become doctors. They go to Ceylon and get a PhD degree or something like that. They become doctors. All these 5 people were studied effect on society. Do you know what the study showed after 5 years? All of them equally effective on society. Now we know why. There's a study which is done now. Last year it was done in 4 universities, Oxford, Cambridge, Hamburg and Munich. What did the study do? It was done from Oxford, and Professor Bingle, who is the professor of medicine in Oxford, was the lead author of the study. They were treating patients, cancer patients with severe pain by injecting morphia. Morphia is the best painkiller that all of you know, and they were running a drip of morphia, but told the patient, this is not morphia we are giving you, this is a new vitamin we have discovered for cancer and you will be all right. And what happened? Nobody's pain relieved. Everybody had continuous pain and morphia was running in this drip. Then they took the same patient in the next study, crossover, they were running saline, salt water into the vein and told the patient, this is morphia, a new salt of morphia. Everybody's pain relieved. Did you understand that? Pain got relieved with salt water. Pain did not get relieved with morphia. When the patient thought salt water was morphia, morphia was salt water. Did you get that? Then the trialists themselves were confused. So they wanted to see what is happening. Whether is this a fluke, something happened. So they did fMRI for the patient to repeat the study. fMRI is functional MRI. You can see what the brain is doing in fMRI. It's very expensive. If you go to the hospital, they'll do an fMRI for it. It's not needed. For research, they did it. And when the patient believed that it is morphia, the forebrain produced so much of painkillers, opioids, that the pain disappeared. When the patient did not believe that it was morphia, when morphia was running, the brain slept. This is the confirmation of Hahneman's first principle, because Hahnemann was also a doctor. And Hahnemann was so confused like we are confused now, and he was as much confused as these Oxford doctors doing the study. He probably thought, placebo, I please, because he lost his own son from a simple infection. So it's placebo. Placebo in Latin means I please. When the mind gets pleased, the mind produces medicine. That is your doctor. And that is how homeopathy was born. And homeopathy was more popular in America than modern medicine. The American Homeopathic Association started in 1847. And who started it? American doctors were fed up with our conventional treatment at that time. What was the conventional treatment? Galen in 127 said, all diseases are due to bad humors and they must be purged, vomited and blood-let. So we were letting blood out for every disease from common cold to cancer for 2,500 years. Can you believe that? And how many people we must have sent to heaven. But the notable people are, George Washington had typhoid fever. So his doctors let his blood out completely till he died. Napoleon Bonaparte had tuberculosis of the heart. It's called tubercular pericarditis. He was also bloodlet. When your pericardium is slightly damaged and it's constricting your heart, if you let the blood out, he'll quickly die. That's, bloodletting was so common. Then also doctors did not learn from their lesson because only the rich people came to the doctors. Even those days, doctors were after money. Rich people came to doctors. The poor man who did not come to doctors, he did not die. If they had observed that in society, they would have stopped bloodletting long, long ago. I'll give you a good book for the younger generation to read. It's called Bad Medicine. What's the book name? BAD, Bad Medicine. Side heading, Doctors Harming Patients Since Hippocrates. Written in 2012, last year, 2013, by a historian, professor of history in the University of Leeds. His name is David, D-A-V-I-D, David Wooton, W-O-O-T-T-O-N. I want all of you to read their book because it shows how foolish we are if we don't think. If you just think, what happens? How many of you have read this book called Doctor's Dilemma? It's a drama written by George Bernard Shaw, very famous drama writer. George looked at what the doctors were doing in London and he was shocked. There was a great doctor in London, one of the greatest surgeons. His name is Arbuthnot Lane. Arbuthnot Lane. And Arbuthnot Lane had a philosophy that all diseases are because the poisons come from the gut. You eat something, you eat today, it remains till tomorrow morning, it gets a poison, it becomes a poison in the gut. So the poison comes and you get disease. So what did he do? He had a principle of surgery. Anybody who comes to him with any disease, he will remove the gut. It's called colectomy. So that instead of the shit coming at the other end, it used to come in out here when there is a tube he'll keep. And this is called, there's an ostomy tube, there's a bag there. So everybody who had money in London had a bag with shit collecting there. So London started stinking. And no doctor had the guts to talk to Arbuthnot Lane because he was like a giant of a doctor. And George Bernard Shaw wrote this book and Arbuthnot Lane closed his clinic and then he did not practice medicine. So George Bernard Shaw did more good to society than any scientist or doctor in the world because he stopped one thing. Then in 1823, medicine doctors were so bad in London that one of the doctors himself, a young doctor whose name is James Wakeley, he said, my God, what are these doctors doing? They don't know science, they have not studied well. So he wanted to start a science journal to inform them about good science and good medicine. The journal he named as The Lancet. Have you heard of that name? The Lancet. He is naming it as Lancet. He said, doctors have become a bunch of corrupt, incompetent, nepotistic fools who have become an abscess on the human body, on the common man's body. So I'm going to have this Lancet to cut it and drain the pus out. Okay? So he started Lancet in 1823. He had a lot of problems. He had financial problems initially. Lancet stopped 2-3 times in the beginning and then started. Now Lancet is about 200 years old. I think 3 years ago when the Lancet was about 190 years, the present editor of Lancet, Dr. Horton, wanted to see what effect had Lancet on medical practice. Now the original founder wanted medical practice to be good, no? So what has happened? So he commissioned a medical historian called Hilary Butler. She's from New Zealand, but she's a very famous medical historian. He said, I'll give you this much money, study and tell me what effect Lancet had. She wrote a beautiful paper, published in Lancet, and she wrote, what was a bunch of nepotistic corrupt rascals in 1823 has transformed itself into a corporate monstrosity all over the world which will cut everyone. This is what is happening, and that is why all of us will have to be aware of our safety. If you want to be safe as long as you live, don't you try to live here forever. You will never succeed because nature wants us to die. It's a question of when. Some of us in India are very good in jumping the queue, so we may jump the queue and go a little faster. But all that said and done, the queue is there. So I always have been telling doctors, instead of saying you check up for pre-diabetes, pre-hypertension, pre-this, pre-cancer, etc., etc., have a disease called pre-death syndrome. So everyone becomes a patient for you. When do you die? When you are born. If you don't want to die, don't get born. If you get born, you come to our side, we say pre-death syndrome. Because we have a polypill now. Don't you know that? There is a thing called a polypill. Haven't you heard of that? It's a sort of a small dose of every drug. Polypill. In one drug, everything is there. A small dose of antihypertensive, a small dose of antidiabetic, a small dose of statin, a small dose of this, a small dose of that. And companies are selling it in a big way. They say everybody should take it. It's good, isn't it? If you then the advertisement and the quote unquote science of polypill is, if you took that, you will never die. I said it's very bad for society. Nobody dies. We can't even stand. If nobody dies, what will happen? Can't even stand. You should start sucking from our legs. That is not possible. Now, Madras city, there are two doctors who are supposed to be doing research on polypill. They must have got a few crores. That's a different thing. Now, can you believe this? They came to me first. They have a very big scientific community. They said, can you get somebody to work on polypill? Yes, I'll get you. But their data they'll publish, not you. They ran away from me. But in Madras only they got out to work class. And they got data from all over the world saying that taking polypill is good. Very good, isn't it? Everybody takes every drug every day. Today in America, there's nobody called a healthy person. Everyone has to take some drug or the other from the time you're born. Child born gets 29 vaccinations. 29 vaccinations. And it's estimated that by the age you are 30, you are at least taking 2 tablets. At least. The minimum. That's why I coined a new word and wrote an article called health expectancy. You all have heard of life expectancy. Number of years a newborn child can expect to live. I have a coin called health expectancy. Number of years a newborn child could expect to live without the onslaught of doctors and medicines. And I estimated that is the highest in India. You come to my village, I have a couple of centenarians who have not seen hospitals and doctors. So in India, many of us are alive without taking medicines quite adult age. Nowhere in the world. Japan there are. Because Japan there are least number of doctors and least number of specialists. But Japanese have the best health, they live the longest and they have the least disease. America has the largest number of doctors and the biggest number of specialists, 99% of them specialists, and largest number of hospitals, and they have the least health, lowest longevity and the worst diseases. New Zealand did an experiment. They said every child must go and see the dentist from the time the tooth arises till it dies, free. 3 times a year, 3. New Zealand is a small country and today New Zealand has the highest dental problem in the world. Because if you go to the dentist every 3 months and he scrapes it, by the time you are about 15, all the enamel is gone. So by the time you are 16, I can't take tea. That advertisement, haven't you seen? Tea. You leave your tea. No, I can't leave tea. Then you take this paste. If you put it, immediately it will go. And she will give a paste and you put it and then, tea. 100% false. 100% false. That's why, very interesting, there's a book called Affluent Society. How many of you read that book? Affluent Society. This is written by a great economist called John Kenneth Galbraith, who was an ambassador, American ambassador here a few years. Very, very nice man. He's about 7 feet. The tallest American probably was John Kenneth Galbraith. In the true sense of the word, also he was the tallest American. He wrote this book where he says, this was written in 1956, called Affluent Society. He says about advertisement. He says advertisement is not there to tell the public about the product. Advertisement is there to lure you, to make you want that product when you don't need it. See the difference between want and need? Now supposing I see an advertisement for a shirt. I don't need a shirt, I have a shirt. But when I see that advertisement looks so good that I immediately run and buy a shirt. And this is where the economy works. It's called affluent society. And there is another Nobel laureate economist called Stiglitz. He has written a book, Of the 1%, For the 1%, By the 1%. Have you read that book? You must read that book. This world runs for 1% of human beings, by 1% of human beings, and for 1% of human beings. Can you believe that? 99% of us will have to make do with 1% of the resources. And 1% of the world makes 99% of the resources and swallow. Do you know how education changed? All this, due to 3 people. All this medicine, the problem that we are talking about, adverse drug reactions, doctor telling something wrong, medicine being wrong, science being wrong, all because of 3 people. Very rich 3 people in America, D.P. Morgan, Andrew Carnegie, Nelson Rockefeller, were the richest people in 1910 in America. So they came together and said, why do we compete with each other? We'll of course make money, but we want to control the whole world, that we should come together. So they had a consortium of 3 people. They gave $50 million for some very intelligent people like our editor here, and they said, tell us how to control the world. They spent the money and they came with an idea, control education, you can control the world. This document was kept as a secret document till recently. When RTI, the document has come out. The document says, find out how much does it cost to tell the child in the school and make the child believe that snow is black. Did you understand that? That is what you are taught now in the school. Snow is black. That's called educare. The authorities want to let the child know what they want the child to know. Have you read the history books? You must read the history books, NCERT. New history, their own history. What the government of the day wants you to believe, that's the history. America also same thing. So they said, we must now tell the child what the child wants to know, what we want to know. That is called education. But real education is educere. Educe, E-D-U-C-E, means deliver. The child is an intelligent child when it is born, and you have to get the best out of the child. Now I'll come to science. On the day you are made in your mother's womb, not the day you are born, you have the consciousness of this whole universe. The whole universal consciousness is known to you on the day you are made, because you are made unique. There are no 2 human beings. No, why 2 human beings? No 2 living things having the identical genetic pattern. That supposing you want to be unique, you must know everyone else. Supposing Venkatraman says, I must today go to the meeting with a shirt which nobody should have. He must know what others have got the shirt first. So the child is a genius. It knows everything. Only thing is, you get the best out of that child. That's called education. Swami Vivekananda said, education is a manifestation of the perfection which is already in man. Education is just polishing you. In Sanskrit we say, dagdam, punarapi, punaha, kantam, kantavarnam. Even the gold to shine, you must heat it and beat it. So the child should be polished, and that's all what the teacher should do. But on the contrary, today what we do is, the child is told what the teacher and the officers and the government wants the child to know. So we now tell you what's called science. You know what is science? Science is a golem. Golem, you know golem? Any Malayalis here? Golem. Golem. You know golem? You know the scarecrow? In the buildings and all, they put a ugly figure there so that, enna solradhu? Drishti. Ama drishti. Namba kuda drishti da solluva kannadathile. In the drishti in Hebrew is called the golem. Golem is a figure like that which the Jewish priests, they are called the rabbis, used to take to the king. All the Jewish priests are the priests of the king. Now there's this called the famous golem. The king of that particular country wanted to abolish Jews from that country. So there was a law to be enacted saying that all Jews must leave this country by so and so date. But the priest was the Jew. So the priest went with the golem to the king and said, sir, there's something very bad about your future that I see in this horoscope of yours. The king said, what's happening? That may day you abolish the Jews, you will get destroyed. And at that time, he had a small cracker inside that golem, Drishtila. It exploded and the golem got into. So the king got so frightened that Jews are still there. It's called the Prague Golem. Have you heard of that? Read that. The Golem, Prague Golem. Now, two scientists have written about science. Two scientists, two physicists, Colin and Trevor Pinch. These two are physicists who have written how hollow the whole science is. The book is called The Golem, Golem. There's an Indian edition, very cheap, for 75 rupees. You go to the what's that called? What.com is that? There's an Indian.com. Flipkart.com. For 75 rupees, you get the book. You must read. All the journalists must read that. It's called The Golem. There's a beautiful thing in science called the fish net hypothesis. Have you heard of that? Fish net hypothesis. So the ichthyologists, the scientists who study the fish, went to the sea and caught fish. Then came and studied it, measured it with the vernier calipers and all, and then came to one conclusion. All sea fish is bigger than 2 inches. They wrote paper, it became science, fisheries college, they taught it, and everybody believed it. After some years, some other scientists went with another net. They caught fish, and small fish were also caught because their hole was smaller in the net. These people's hole was big, so all the 2 inches fishes went out. So these fellows fishes were there, so they wrote all fishes in the sea are also less than 2 inches. So all hypothesis in science is what is called fish net hypothesis. What doesn't come out? It's called fish net. I'll tell you clear science, physics, we'll come to physics. 1907, J.J. Thomson was the director of the Cavendish Institute in Cambridge, the highest institute those days. He said electrons are particles. Nobel Prize. 1907 Nobel Prize for Physics goes to J.J. Thomson. 30 years later, his own son, J.G. Thomson, George Thomson, he said they are waves. He also got the Nobel Prize. See, the father said they are particles, son said they are waves. Then one of their colleagues, Erwin Schrödinger, said they are wavicles. They are both particles and waves. He also got the Nobel Prize. In 1925, Erwin Schrödinger, Werner Heisenberg in the Zurich Polytechnic was a student where Einstein himself was a teacher. And he told Einstein, you're talking through your hat. All that you have said so far is wrong. Can you tell that to a professor who is a Nobel laureate? What happens to Werner Heisenberg? He becomes an outstanding student. You know what that means? Standing outside. He was standing outside physics for 30 years. And 1955, Einstein dies. And 1956, Werner Heisenberg gets the Nobel Prize. What did he say? You can't know what an electron is. That's called the uncertainty principle. He is also right. He is the only right person. Now we have got one of his colleagues, Werner Heisenberg's colleagues, who is still alive, 89 years, who is the present emeritus director of Max Planck Institute, who is the deputy editor for a journal called the Journal of Science of Healing Outcomes. Hans-Peter Dürr, who says electrons are not matter at all. He says, I'm a nuclear scientist, my job is to look at matter at its subtlest level, which I've been doing for 55 years. And now I know there is no matter at all. Can you believe that? He has written an article for you lay people. In the Google you go, matter is not made out of matter. Have you seen that? No, see that, ma. Matter is not made out of matter. Which means there is no matter at all. You are looking solid, no? There's nothing. I close my eyes, you're not there. That's called Maya. When I open my eyes and some photons leave you and come and hit my eyes, you become a solid. You are a wave till then, you're all vibrations, we're all vibrations, and the vibration becomes solid. So it's an apparent thing. This is called Wirklichkeit in German. Wirklichkeit means a drama. This whole world is a drama. Did you understand that? Shankara said that years ago, Maya. What a beautiful thing. Same thing. And when Hans-Peter Dürr found out that matter and energy are the same, E is equal to M, he wrote an article called Matter is not modern matter, but he said this is called a-duality. There is no duality between matter and energy. But he says, who am I? I am just a child in front of the Indian sages who thousands of years ago called this as Advaita. Who is saying that? Hans-Peter Dürr is saying that. He can't even speak English properly, but he can speak Sanskrit. And he can quote the Upanishads. He says, Bahirantascha bhutanam. Matter is inside and outside. Energy is inside and outside of everything. Charam acharamevacha. You're looking solid, but there is nothing solid. You are just vibration. But you are looking solid because I am looking at you. And you are vibration, I am vibration. In between there is vibration and you and I are same. And if you know this science, which is not the science that is taught in school, even after 85 years of science having changed, if you know that, I can't hate you. And if I don't hate you, I won't get any illness. You see, this is the basis of health. Illness comes when I hate you because your cells and my cells love your cells and my cells love my cells. And now if I hate you, my cells say, what is wrong with this fellow? I love everyone and this fellow is hating somebody. So after some time, my own cells say, I will hate this fellow's cells only. And that is what we call autoimmune disease. Your own body kills your own body. Who did that? Your mind. Where is the mind? Never mind. Mind is everywhere. Bahirantascha bhutanam. Charam acharamevacha. Sukshmavate tai avidyam. You can't see the mind. Cha durastam. When you don't know, you don't know. Cha aniketa cha tat. When you know, it is inside you. And that is the mind that is playing everything. You think in the morning you are fine. You tell yourself, I am fine. You are fine. So what is health? Enthusiasm to work. Enthusiasm to work. All of us work for compulsion. Not that we love our work. If I give you a choice saying that you go to work or don't go to work, I will pay you, 99% of the people don't want to go to work. That is why we get illness. If you don't love your work, don't do that work. But do the work which you love. And that is not possible all the time. That is why the saying, wise people don't work what they get. They make everything they love. So supposing I am working as a clerk, I must love my work, then I am very healthy. When I don't love my work, I am very unhealthy. Look at these boys and girls in the IT industry. Every one of them is not healthy, even at the age of 25, 30. They come with serious diseases. Girls stop menstruating, boys get hypertension, all kinds of things. Because you don't love that work because there's no creativity in it. You just repeat. You repeat more idlis. You do everything idli every day. If you only bake more idlis, you get fed up. One day you must be able to make idli, one day dosa, one day vada, one day something else. You variety, you like it. But every day you make the same idli, look at the computer from morning till evening, you get fed up. So that is where the diseases are all in the mind. And mind is everywhere in your body. The human body is human mind. Every cell has a mind, which I call as membrane. This is not the only brain. There is a brain in my leg also. And the girl who showed that there is a brain outside the brain also is a girl called Candace Pert. This girl was working in NIH, National Institute of Health in America. Her boss found out that she has got something very good, and if she publishes that, she will get a Nobel Prize. So when she went to a holiday, this fellow stole her data. His name is Saul Snyder. He stole the data and wrote a paper and sent it and almost got the Lashkar Award, short of the Nobel Prize. By that time, this girl came back and found out she was a fighter. So she took her ledger, went to Sweden and told that this is my work, this fellow is stealing it. And the fellow didn't get the Nobel Prize. This girl lost her job. Good that she lost her job because she has written a book for you called Molecules of Emotion. Please read that book, Molecules of Emotion. Molecules of Emotion. And the Amma Peru Candace, C-A-N-D-A-C-E, Pert, P-E-R-T. And the book நீங்க படிச்சீங்கன்னா அதுல அவள் சொல்லுவா, when you get a headache, don't go to the drug cabinet to get a tablet. You sit in a quiet room, meditate, and elevate yourself to that level of consciousness where your own brain releases enough painkillers and your pain disappears. See, what a beautiful thing. The latest American scientist who should have got the Nobel Prize rightfully is writing this book. So, human beings can make themselves healthy or unhealthy depending on their own choice. You want to hate the whole world, you will have to be all the time in Venkatraman's clinic taking medicines. You want to love everybody, you don't have to even be friends with Venkatraman. But even if you don't want to have any disease, you must have a doctor as your family friend. He must be a friend, philosopher and guide. He must know all about you your worries, your anxieties, your problems, everything he should know. Then only he can make a correct diagnosis. Otherwise, he won't be able to make a diagnosis. I tell you, one day I was a young researcher in Harvard. I was sitting there, I was making a diagnosis. A young lady was admitted, old lady was admitted about 3 o'clock in the morning. I had seen her, so there was nothing really wrong with her. But those days we were just starting this echo business, so I was playing with the echo. So I thought her heart muscle was a little thicker. So I thought this lady had a very serious heart disease called cardiomyopathy. So my boss came. He's a Nobel laureate, Bernard Lown, the man who invented that, you give the shock in the after somebody dies, you give a chuk and all. He found it out. It's called Lown's defibrillator. So he came. He's a very nice man. He was about 75 at that time. So he came, sat there, talked to this lady for a long time, half an hour. And then he told me, young man, this lady had a tiff with her husband last night. Nothing is wrong with her. She has no cardiomyopathy. It's all in her mind, he said. And he was right. So, it's all in your mind. Get up in the morning. What's the definition of health? Enthusiasm to work and enthusiasm to be compassionate. Health is not absence of disease. Now, if I scan all of you with the total body scanner, all of us have many diseases, but they don't kill you. Every one of us every day has more than 10 cancers growing in us, but they don't become cancers and kill you. As long as you love others, this cancer dies. When you hate others, this cancer grows. When you eat all kinds of rubbish, the cancer grows. When you eat insensibly, cancer dies. What is cancer? A rogue cell. A cell which has not obeyed its orders to die. Every cell has to die. It has got a day. It is die. If it doesn't die, it becomes a rogue cell. That becomes a cancer. And you feed it. What's two things you feed? One is food, unnecessarily eating too much. All this junk food. And the second is hating everyone in this world. So the simple formula of health is your birthright. There is a doctor who is born with you, and he is the best doctor. He has the best qualification. We all doctors pale into insignificance in front of him because he can cure any disease. Sometimes we make our environment so unhealthy that he gets defeated. I'll tell you how we make our environment unhealthy. What do we need for health? 5 things. A, air. Look at Madras air. It's so unhealthy. So our immune system gets problems. That's why doctors must thank the pollution. Because you get all kinds of diseases, from cancer to common cold, because of pollution. Number 1. Number 2, sun. Sun is the one that is keeping you and me alive here because he gives you more energy than food. But we don't want the sun because the industry says don't go to the sun. Girls will lose their boyfriends don't like their face and you put some cream. This cream is the cause of skin cancer, not the sun. You sit in the sun as much as you can. Look at some of these peanut selling old ladies, 80 years. You break her bone, I'll give you 100 rupees if you break her bone. You don't go to the sun at all and get up and you do this, one bone is gone. Then you go there, they'll do a bone scan and say, oh, you've got osteopenia. What is bone scan? It is the bone of an 18-year-old Caucasian girl that is referenced there. So if you are 19 years old, you've got 2% less bone. If you are 90 years old, you are 90% less bone. So it's not a disease. We have created a disease called bone scanning. You go and sit in the sun, your bone will be stronger than your original bone. We don't do that. So sun. Number 2, 3, food. Good food. Good food is what? Nitya, Hita, Mita, Ahara, Sevi. Small amount of food. Before you want 2 more, at least you stop. Supposing you had 2 idlis. You're happy, but you could have 2 more, then stop. Half of what you eat keeps you going, the other half keeps the doctor going. So whichever way you want. Mita, then Hita. Whatever you like, you eat. Don't worry whether it's cholesterol or bullshit. Eat, if you like it, eat it, but eat in moderation. Then eat it more number of times so that you don't feel hungry. When you feel hungry, you unnecessarily eat more. Whether you like it or not, you eat more. So you feed yourself every 3 hours. Something, 8:30 breakfast, 10:30 something, 12:30 lunch, 3:30 something, 6:30 dinner, 9:30 something, and then sleep. Nothing will happen to you. When you eat also, you must be happy. After you eat also, you must be happy. And don't exercise after eating, exercise before eating. Then physical exercise, because man is made to be working. But today we think we should be sitting all the time. You are in a seat, then the seat is very comfortable, you're in an air-conditioned room, air conditioning is also bad, and then you just transfer yourself to an air-conditioned car, then move on to your office which is air-conditioned. There also you press a bell for even calling everybody, you don't even get up from bed. Sitting in a chair for a long time reduces a lifespan by 5 years. Sitting is the most risky, most dangerous occupation. Now in America what they do is in IT industry, they make them stand and work. And even standing is not static standing. There's a slow moving belt instead of the floor. So the belt is moving. So if you stand still, you will fall down. So you have to keep doing that. It's very good for health. Then fourth thing is our environment. What kind of environment we got now? See now here, this mobile, what is that called? Microphone. It is emitting so much of dangerous emit into my body and into your body. And then your cell phone, another very dangerous thing. Your cordless phone at home. You have your idli warming thing, what is it called? Microwave oven. You have an electric blanket, electric hair dryer, electric clock, television. All these emit very bad energy. This is called dirty electricity. This is 40 to 70 hertz electricity, which is killing mankind. Cancer is one of the very important causes of cancer is this dirty electricity. But this beautiful earth that we were born with, we don't touch the earth now. Shoes, rubber shoes. Our ancestors used to have leather, old dry leather chappal, at least it was conduct some electricity. We don't touch and you are in the 90th floor, 20th floor. You don't touch with ground at all. Ground is your other. Ground is where you have to root yourself. And to do that, if you are in Chennai city, I have a solution for you. You can go to the beach, wet sand, throw off your shoes and walk in the wet sand for about half an hour. If you can't do that, if you have some grass near your house, water it in the morning, the lawn or whatever, and then walk barefoot. If you can walk barefoot all the time, you will never die. Very good for you. And look at our farmers, they not only walk barefoot on wet ground in the fields, they don't get anywhere. You just have all these aches and pains for which you go and take homeopathic medicine. Don't do that. Walk barefoot, the aches and pains disappear. Even if you are 90 years, you don't have aches and pains at all. So 5 things for health. The 5th element is most important because of our civilization. We have become so civilized and so advanced and so scientific that we want to do everything wrong. So don't do all these things. I can't now ask you to go back to the Stone Age. So what I am now trying to do is, I am devising a good energy jacket. A jacket which emanates 0 to 30 hertz that the earth gives you otherwise. So I am devising this for IT boys and girls because I feel so sorry for them looking at them. I don't think I should be treating a girl at 20 years for menstrual irregularity and then she gets polycystic PCOD and then she can't get married and if she gets married also she will get a child. I feel so sorry. I sometimes cry. Now I am devising this. I have devised it already and I want to give it to all these companies saying that give them as like a uniform. Just put on a jacket and that generates that 30, instead of this giving a 70 hertz killing them. The 70 hertz comes from their computer. This 30 hertz protects that. It's like, when you go to the X-ray room, you put on a lead jacket. I'm preparing a jacket like that. Because I can't be telling them you do leave your job and go because nobody bothers. One girl is so bad, she's about 25. I told her, you leave your job. No, sir. I'm the project manager. I'm getting a lakh of rupees. See, lakh of rupees. I said, your life, future life. She's not bothered about that. She wants a lakh of rupees. Her mother comes to my house every day and cries. Do something for her. Your daughter can be very easily treated if she leaves that job. Oh no, that she can't do. So at least now we have to have a via media. So these are the 5 things for health. Water, drinking water. Many of us don't drink water at all. We drink very good water in the tin, which is poison, 100% poison, which contains so many bad things, And I saw the other day in Chennai, I saw a boy who came all the way from Singapore to see me. He is actually a Ranji Trophy player in Calcutta. You can imagine how healthy he should have been. And now he joined his IT company. He's a big man in the IT company in Singapore. He's 95 kilos now, 95 kilos. A Ranji Trophy player 5 years ago is 95 kilos now. And he has got very high blood pressure, 8 blood pressure lowering drugs, nothing has happened. He's a diabetic, he can't walk, he became breathless. So I asked him, He said, nobody has talked to me. They only do the report. I have got all the reports from Singapore. See that. I said, I don't want to see the report because I'm not treating the report. I'm treating you. Then I told him, how much do you sleep a day? Sleeping? Where is the time for sleeping? I don't need sleep, doctor. I get about an hour and a half and 2 hours a day between somewhere if I get time. Can you believe that? Now that's the first thing. Second thing is, what do you eat? Do you get? Well, no, I don't take a breakfast. I run there and I bite something there. This, what is it? Hot dog or a cold dog or something. And then I on an average, I take about 20 tins of Diet Coke. I don't want to put on weight. Diet Coke, still worse. Coke is all right. Diet Coke is really dangerous. This is the boy. And sitting all the time, looking at the computer. Now I told him, young man, I can't do anything for you unless you leave your job. This boy was very sensible. He said, I'll go back, resign my job and come. I said, I'll treat you. Not with these tablets. I'll treat you. But first you leave your job. You can do anything. The world is very wide. Why do you want to do all the job and get all the, all this and die prematurely? If supposing destined to die prematurely, nobody can help it. But why do you want to kill yourself? This is the problem. So these 5 things, remember? You remember? What are they? Air, sun, water, food, earth. The 5th element of health is earth. Very importantly. And you can't touch the earth, then of course, nobody can help you. So where treatment is very simple, no doctor is needed. Go out in the sun. There are so many old ladies whom I saw in Chennai, I tell them, you take her out, put out there, she'll be all right, and most of them are all right. And then walk on nobody wants to walk barefoot. They say something will bite you. In my hotel I walk barefoot, everybody is looking at me, even the watchman is looking at me. Sir, cherpilliye. Cherp vendan vittu. Illa sir vendan idu temporary namma cherp eduthukkonga sir. He thinks I have forgotten my cherp, so he's offering his cherp because I treated him sometimes, So he says, namma cherp eduthukkonga sir. And that's the reason why I stay in that hotel, because there is a big lawn and I have made arrangements for it to be watered in the morning, so I can nicely walk there. So please do all this for health. Now last. Science I told you, the science is a golem. Now last, heart. Have a heart, you will have a healthy heart. As simple as that. Have a heart, you will have a healthy heart. And don't all the time think about the heart. Even a child has got coronary artery blocks. If you have artery blocks, only you live. If you don't have artery blocks, you die very early. So we now use that to buckrify you. Because what the blocks that we see in the X-ray is totally different from the block that kills you. To do that, I saw that white board. Can I just write a picture in that? Can somebody get it here? Do you have a pen there in that? Irka? இல்லையா? இத சேர்ல வைக்க. அங்கே அப்படியே இருக்கா? இங்க வச்சிருங்க. No, இருக்கட்டும். இருக்கட்டும். Good boy. Very good boy. See, we show you that picture called angiogram. It varies from 12,000 to about 50,000 depending on which hospital you have done. Everybody gets an angiogram. It's like everybody who goes to your house gets a cup of tea. Everybody who goes to the hospital gets an angiogram. And what do we see is 4 big arteries outside, which is called epicardial artery. Don't worry about all that. But a simple thing is, this is an artery and this they show as the block. And they say 90% block. Appa the poor wife thinks, eppadi 10% ivar irukkaru. Then he'll say, இப்போ பண்ணணும். இப்போ போக முடியாது, வீட்டுக்கு போக முடியாது. சார் பணம் இல்ல, வீட்டுக்கு போக முடியாது. போயிட்டு வர்றப்ப சத்து போனா நான் ஜவாப்தாரி இல்ல. You are sitting on a volcano. It might burst anytime. This 90% thing has nothing whatsoever to do with the disease, because this is a God-given block. This is a patch. The artery is injured and then it's patched with some cholesterol. It's a nice patch. But what kills you is what's called mural plaque. It is in the wall like that. That can never be seen by an angiogram. It can only be seen by an angioscope. If you look at an angioscope, it looks as if that's rough there, rough surface there. Picture doesn't show. And this kills because it attracts a clot and tuck, you are dead. This does not attract a clot. That 90% நேத்துக்கு வரல. That 90% has taken about 50 years to come. They did a survey on children going to school. Angiogram பண்ணாங்க. Young soldiers, American soldiers in the Vietnam War and Korean War, aged 18 years, young healthy soldiers were shot dead, were post-mortem angiogram, and 76% of them had 3-vessel disease, 3-vessel blocks. 52% of them had 2-vessel block, and 15% of them had left main block. Today's standards, all those boys need a bypass surgery, but they were in the American Army. Now we know this plaque is called vulnerable plaque. This is called in the vessel wall. This is the wall of the vessel. There's a plaque there which can't be seen, and that's called the vulnerable plaque. That's a killing plaque. That's a dangerous plaque. And today there are simple blood tests to find out if you have that block. If you have chest pain, 1-2 tests which may cost about 10 rupees, we can say whether you have vulnerable plaque working. But this is intraluminal block. It's nothing to do with the 50%, 60%, 90% means nothing. And the heart is not a stable structure. It's doing that. And each time you do that, what is 5% can be 100% also. I'll show you how. Does that. As the X-ray is taken, it is doing that 72 times a minute. So you don't know which way you're seeing. If you really want to scientifically find out, there are methods of doing it, but we don't want to do that because that's not business. So heart is simple, one simple word. Have a heart. You will have a healthy heart. You know what's meant by metaphorically have a heart? Be kind. That's all. So friends, there are a lot of myths in every field, including homeopathy. Venkatraman is absolutely right. Why homeopathy? Everything that we do for others, there are myths galore. And real progress is trying to demolish the myths and not repeat the known things. It's very easy to repeat the known things. எல்லாருக்கும் தெரியும் புக்கில் இருக்கு, நான் படிச்சுட்டு அப்படியே ஒரு வாமிட் பண்ணா I'll get first rank. All these first rankers have lost the power to think. That is why Alexis Carrel wrote a book, Man the Unknown. He is a Nobel laureate. He said every newborn child is a genius to be converted an idiot in school. So friends, life is not very complicated. We complicate life. Life has nothing to worry about as long as you don't worry about it. And life is so nice. And life has got a lot of potentials. You don't know your potentials. You think, who am I can't be nothing. You can today, if you want, and make up your mind to climb the Himalayas, you can be Ten Singh. You can go. You can make up your mind. So, please do not get any negative thoughts. They kill you. Have only positive thoughts in the mind. Positive thoughts. Everything. Remember, there is always the morning after a dark night. When you get worried, depressed, you think the end has come. A lot of us commit suicide when you're depressed. But remember, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And night and day are like that. That's why Rudyard Kipling wrote a poem after studying Indian philosophy, because the only philosophy in the world which can give you any solace is Indian philosophy. Of course, there are other philosophies like Chinese philosophy, and in Islam there are philosophies like Ibn Sina, who you call as Avicenna. Avicenna is a Latinized word for Ibn Sina. Ibn Sina was a great physician. Like Heinemann, he had a lot of things that he had brought forward, and he had opposed a lot of things, like Heinemann. So Heinemann, Ibn Sina and all people who were opposing what was known, for which they suffered. Like for example, it was, I think, in the 2nd century AD, Ptolemy said, the sun goes round the earth. It's called the geocentric concept. Now, it's going round the earth. Correct? For nearly 500 years, every so-called scientist said, sun goes round the earth. Then in the 7th century, Copernicus came, a Greek, he actually used a pole. but he was born in Greece. This Copernicus said, no, earth goes round the sun. And that was a thing, that was something very, very against the accepted norm. They wanted to kill him. And that was not accepted for 200 long years. Of course, now we know the earth goes round the sun. But still we don't know whether the earth is flat or round. See, very interesting things. Lot of things we don't know. But we think what is written in our books, what is taught in our school is the ultimate thing. So we believe that. We become asses. So you should be able to look back and ask, what is it that the teacher is trying to put on my back? I always jokingly tell my students, don't be an ass carrying the washerman's clothes that I put on your back from the river to the washerman's house and back, and then finish your life. Occasionally be an inquiring ass. Find out what's on my back. Are they all shirts? Are they all saris? Find out. That's very interesting, isn't it? You don't do that. Because you can't ask questions in the class. Teacher doesn't like it. And it's not in the syllabus. I had a very interesting story in a school. I sometimes go to school and talk to these kids. One kid complained to me, sir, my teacher asked me to write a composition on the zoo of my imagination. So I wrote, sir, my zoo has giraffe which has got 100 feet long neck and it can even catch moon and bring it down and things like that. My teacher gave me 0, sir. I went and asked her, why 0? She said, no, that's not the zoo. Zoo is in the book. You must write like that. But madam, you said write the zoo of your imagination. You didn't ask me to write the zoo of your imagination, my imagination. But on the payanukku 0 தான் கிடைச்சது. So Copernicus 0 தான் கிடைக்கும். புரிஞ்சுதா? ஆனா you must have the courage to get that 0 and still be happy about it. When I wrote the book called What Doctors Don't Get to Study in Medical School, it was reviewed by an Indian great scientific journal called the National Medical Journal. 2-page review. In short, it said the author is a fool, a bloody fool. He doesn't know English, he doesn't know science, he doesn't know medicine, and he must be in the mental hospital, and this book must be banned. Blah, 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 he wrote. And he did a great service to me because they had published 5,000 copies. They were all sold in 1 week. Then a review came from British Medical Journal. They wrote, the editor wrote, Richard Smith wrote, this is not a textbook of medicine as claimed by the author, but is a holy text of medicine written by a prophet. Then they opened the eyes. It must come from the West. Then the then health minister of Britain, one Nicholas Ray, he is a doctor himself. He wrote a beautiful review of the book. He said there are a lot of important things which can save money for our NHS. So I have sent it to the Prime Minister to look at that. So see, this is how we look at it. We have our jaundice glasses. We look through our jaundice glasses. A lot of people curse me. A lot of people claim. But you must have the courage to say what you think is right. I may be a bloody fool. I always tell people, I know I am a fool. What is the problem? You call me a fool, I am happy. But a fool thinks he is always wise. Then the problem comes. I was invited here some 10 years ago, for a very famous lecture. And the lecture was nominated by them. It's some trust, Santam Auditorium, about 2,000 people. Madras audience is very intelligent. I always miss a beat when I stand to talk in Madras. So the subject was quantum physics and ancient Indian wisdom. So I spoke for 1 hour. 1 hour they questioned me. They gave a standing ovation and I went home. I was a vice chancellor then. I get a letter. This letter, not anonymous letter, signed letter in letterhead. Dear Professor Hegde, you are a fool, number 1. You are also an idiot. Second sentence. Third sentence. Shankara is also an idiot. Between the two of you, don't try to confuse the world. Next time you come to Chennai and talk about quantum physics and this, we will throw rotten eggs on your face. I enjoyed the letter. It had a name, so and so. So I wrote him a nice letter. Dear Sri so and so, thank you very much for your sentiments and the nice letter that you have written to me. However, I may not agree with your views. You may think I am an idiot. It's okay with me because I know what I am. So why should I worry about what you think I am? But next time you get angry, you only get angry with me. Leave Shankara alone. He is somebody you and I can't think about. Forget about him. Why talk about Shankara, Prophet Muhammad, Jesus Christ and all? Forget about them. Next time you be angry with me, you in any use, you throw rotten eggs or rotten tomatoes, I am happy. Man's ego got punctured. Because he thought, I will feel an idiot and sonna apdi ipdi. Near vanda Manipalke, touched my feet and said, sir, I am enlightened today. Next time you come to Chennai, please come to my house. My wife makes nice sambar. இந்த சின்ன வெங்காய சாம்பார் நல்லா பண்ணுவோம். We have become good friends. அவன் என்னத்துக்கு எழுதுனா, he was the part of another organization which hated Shankara. See, we hate each other so much. கடைசியில் அவனுக்கு சொன்னேன் நான் ஒரு நாளைக்கு, பார்ப்பா இந்த பசங்கள்ல இருக்காங்களே அவங்க எல்லாம் பெரிய ஆளுங்க, அவங்க திங்க் பண்றாங்க, சேம் திங் தேர் லுக்கிங் அட் டிஃபரெண்ட் வியூ. See, there were 3 acharyas, Ramanuja, Shankara and Madhva. They looked at what is called God. Nobody has seen God. They had their own viewpoint, so they wrote, what is wrong in it? What is wrong? There's nothing wrong in it. But you hate yourself, then you say, Christians hate me or Islam hates me. No, nobody hates you. Every religion says the same thing. What is the spirituality? Caring and sharing. Whether it is Islam, whether it is Christianity or Hinduism, what is that? Sharing and caring. That's called spirituality. Definition of spirituality is sharing and caring. What does Hinduism say or Sanatana Dharma says? Tena, tyaktena, bunjitaha. Rejoice in giving. What does Islam say? Zukat. Give. And what does Jesus say? It's not for thee alone. Pass it on. Pass it on. Just to try this. You try to see one person smiling because of you every day. You don't have to go to the doctor. I can assure you that. You worry about what can I do for others. Paropakarartha vidam shariram. Then your cells say, aha, this is my man. I will keep him alive. Do you know what cells are so powerful? Supposing you get a heart attack, let us say, God forbid. Supposing you get a heart attack, what happens? A part of the heart dies. This is called cell death. The cells have died there. Cell death. Okay. Then what happens, do you know? Immediately the surrounding cells say, oh, my brother has died. Let me go there and help him. They slip out and come and occupy this place. See? That's what cell slipping. Then the cells are held by a mother called fibroblast. Blast in Latin is mother. So the mother says, hey, where is my son gone? Today if you want to know where your son is, you must go to the police station. But not that mother. That mother knows, my son has gone to help somebody. Did you understand that? My son has gone to help somebody. So the mother says, I will also help. So what does the mother do? She produces more fiber. So more fiber. And that's called fibroblastic proliferation. Stage 3. Then the cells in the far out says, oh my God, my brother has died there. I can't slip and go there. I will become stronger so that my heart becomes stronger. They hypertrophy. 4. Hypertrophy. See, you have a normal heart. Supposing you get a heart attack and you have not died, because 60% of people who get a heart attack die before they know a heart attack, because they don't get a heart attack, they die of electric death. The other 40% bakras are the ones who come to us. And if this bakra for some reason doesn't go to the doctor and survives, he survives a beautiful heart again, normal heart. It's called remodeling of the heart. And that doesn't happen if you come to us, because we give drugs which nullify this. Did you get that? So that doesn't mean if you get a pain, severe pain and a heart attack, say, I'm not going there, I'll rectify it. உங்களுக்கு தெரியலன்னா சும்மா இருங்க. Your immune system tells you, if it can't help you, it gives you a symptom, which means go to your friend and take some help. And who is the friend? Your family doctor. So when you have a symptom, even if it is a small symptom, see your family doctor. When you don't have a symptom, don't see a doctor. As long as you are happy and healthy, how do you know you are healthy? Very easy. Do you have enthusiasm to work? Do you have enthusiasm to be compassionate? You are healthy. So Ayurveda says, samadatuhu samagnischa samadoshaha malakriya prasannatma indriyamana swasthaitya vidyate. You shit well, you piss well, you eat well, you drink well, you walk well, you work well, and you don't hate nobody, you are healthy. Do you get that? Any one of these things are in trouble, there is something trouble. A lot of people say, I have constipation. Because you are so tense that your gut is also tense. It's not relaxing at all. You relax, it comes out. Like, the municipal lorry draining it out, it just comes out. But, நீங்க போய் முக்கி என்ன ஆகுது, முக்கி ஒரு ஹர்னியா வருது, இங்க ஒரு பைல்ஸ் வருது, இப்போ இங்க ஒரு இன்னொரு ஹர்னியா வருது, இல்லைன்னா ஒரு ஹார்ட் அட்டாக் வருது. Because you get valsalvam ஒரு முக்குன்னு என்ன தெரியுமா? You are breathing out against closed glottis. போச்சு. So there are very simple things. Love everyone, eat in moderation, sleep well, take good air, and then take sun, and then walk on the wet earth. You are fine. Thank you very much.
sir. As a token of our love and affection, we would like to present Dr. Hegde with a small memento.
Oh, that's good. Thank you very much. That's good. But Nadula, if you put a cinema, for the next meeting, you correct.
My cake.
Come. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಆಗ ಆಯ್ಯೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಸರ್
To you.
Mark Twain wrote, "Do not try to know about health books and don't read health books because you may die of a misprint." வேண்டாம் அது உங்களுக்கு வேண்டாம் நீங்க வீட்டில் சொல்ல முடியாது but doctors know but normally they don't do it because they want to angiogram so that's the problem நீங்க அங்க போய் சண்டை போடாதீங்க டாக்டர் கிட்ட அவங்க என்ன கொந்துரும் சிம்பிள் டெஸ்ட் அது see signs of inflammation அவ்வளவுதான் நான் சொன்னேனே அந்த அந்த அது it's an inflamed plaque it's called a hot plaque and the other one that we showed 90% is called cold plaque. Now nobody dies of that cold plaque. It's a cold plaque is good. If you don't have a cold plaque, I have a simple test, say simple yoga exercise to get that. If your heart has no blocks, that kind of block, because those blocks are very important. As the blocks are coming, God gives you bypass. God given bypass is like a normal thing. Simple pranayama. You do a different type of pranayama. You stand like this. You breathe in. Oh, breathe in. Now breathe out. Breathe out, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out. I'm breathing out, I'm not breathing at all. I'm breathing out, I'm sitting, no chair. I'm sitting, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out. Then breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. இப்போ என்ன பண்ணேன் நானு? I gave hypoxia for that few seconds that I was sitting. I gave no oxygen to my seconds that I was sitting. I was not breathing, so oxygen was not coming. So we have too much oxygen in the atmosphere in seaside. Rishis in Himalayas, they live long because they have very little oxygen. பழைய காலத்துல நம்ம என்ன நினைச்சிருந்தா எல்லாத்துக்கும் ஆக்சிஜன் கொடுக்கணும். இப்ப சினிமா என்றால் ஓல்ட் சினிமா எம்ஜிஆர் சினிமால பாத்தீங்கன்னா யாருக்கும் அது ஹார்ட் அட்டாக் வந்துச்சுன்னா உடனே ஒரு மாஸ்க் ஆக்சிஜன் மாஸ்க் போடுவாங்க இல்லையா. Now we know that oxygen mask killed most of us. Because when you get a heart attack, you must not have too much oxygen. And if you don't give oxygen to your heart, the heart tries to get new vessels growing. It's called hypoxic stimulus. So this is a simple exercise, you can do it every day. In addition to that, when you are doing sitting there, you are exercising your knee, you are exercising your hip, you are exercising all your muscles. So easy. And if you did it every day, don't try to do it on the first day like that. You will fall down. Do it slowly, slowly. Anything you do it moderately. நீ போய் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸ் போய் பிஏ கிளாஸ் போக முடியாது, கிண்டர் கார்டனுக்கு தான் போகணும். அப்படி போய் பிஏக்கு போகணும், அப்புறம் எம்ஏ போகிறது. பட் சம் பீப்புள் ட்ரை டு கோ டு எம்ஏ வித்வுட் கோயிங் டு தி கிண்டர் கார்டன் கிளாஸ். தட்ஸ் வேர் த ப்ராப்ளம் கம்ஸ்.
Answers not guaranteed.
Good afternoon to everybody. Good afternoon, Dr. Hegde. I would just like to request you to share a couple of words about one of your former articles on coconut oil, which is a very famous article. I believe some of us here may not have heard you talk about it, so just like to ask you to share.
தண்ணி குடிச்சிட்டு சொல்லு. கருப்பு தண்ணி இல்ல, பச்சை தண்ணி. forgot to tell. இந்த கருப்பு தண்ணி தெரியுமில்ல, கள்ளு, அது குடிக்காதீங்க. Very bad. Alcohol is not good for heart. Even wine, green, red wine, blue wine, white wine, all wine bad. Even a drop of alcohol is bad for the heart because alcohol kills the heart first, brain later. And by the time it kills the brain, you walk like that because you can't walk straight because your cerebellum is all gone. Each peg will damage the cells. Anyway, coming back to your friend, coconut oil. There are only two fats in the world who are identical and good for human beings. One, of course, cannot be disputed, is mother's milk. It can't be poison, isn't it? The other one is coconut oil because both of them have the same fat, which is called monolauric acid, sodium monolaureate. It's a wonderful fat. And if your child drinks only mother's milk for about 2 years, that child for 100 years will live without any disease. நீங்க கொடுக்கிறது ரொம்ப மோசம். You rob the cow of its milk for its child and eat it for your benefit. It's killing you because cow's milk is foreign protein. So foreign protein will react, and reaction, all kinds of allergies, everything comes. Cancer comes only by drinking cow's milk. But mother's milk, we can have a human milk bank. If mothers have more milk, they can bank it. And the only other thing, if a mother dies, even today, and the child infant, do you know what you give? Only coconut oil. If you give any other oil, the child will die. Because coconut oil and mother's milk get digested in the mouth, not in the intestine. A child doesn't have pancreatic lipase in the first year. So if you give your olive oil or your that oil like that, puts and puri coming, heart, healthy heart, or deadly things. And if you give that, the child will be dead. So you know which is good, right? But 1930s, up until 1930s in America, even bread was made with coconut oil. Then the farmers during the depression, they rebelled. They said, what about our soya? It's going waste. So the government made science. I didn't want to tell you that. Science is made by the government. Do you know what Western science is? A type of control over the colonies. What is the result of Western science today, philosophically? Fukushima, Chernobyl, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, all besides, all deadly things, making man a monster. All this because of science. Because science is not only a golem. I'll give you another book. It's called Against Method. Against Method. This is written by a great professor of science philosophy in the London School of Economics and Zurich. His name is Paul Feyerabend. F-E-Y-E-R-B-E-N-D. The book is called Against Method. நீங்க படிக்கணும். அந்த book படிச்சா all rubbish science that you are talking about, you will be surprised. Einstein's theory of relativity பெருசல்ல போய் பேசுறாங்களே, ஸ்கூல்ல இப்போ படிச்சு கொடுக்குறாங்க. Einstein's theory was only a theory and in practice it didn't prove right. 16 studies showed Einstein was wrong. But Einstein's friend was there, who Einstein helped to get the Nobel Prize. His name is Sir Arthur Eddington. Very old. Sir Arthur Eddington repeated the study and said, Einstein is right, these 16 people are wrong. It is science. So, coconut oil was demonized because they wanted to sell soy oil. So, they created jati among oils. Iyengar, Kanagi, ella vandanga. Eppadi vandanga? Fat, bad fat, good fat, cholesterol, adu, saturated fat, unsaturated fat. God given only one fat, 2 fats, mother's milk and coconut oil. Purinjideppo? Ippa Americans are saying that. And professors in Harvard are saying, by demonizing coconut oil, we have killed millions of people in the world. So let us now at least say coconut oil is good.
Doctor, regarding sunlight, which is good, sir, doctor? Morning, evening sunlight, or this one here? And noon, at the noon time, we can get attracted with the UV rays and all, right?
All that morning, evening, night, UV rays are there. Nightly varala. Eppo UV rays are there. Ultraviolet rays only come. But what you are saying is, you can't tolerate the noon sun in Madras because of the heat. So avoid that. I am not asking you to sit in the morning sun is good for 2 reasons. A, the heat temperature is not very high in the morning. It's cool morning. Sit there. And second thing is it comes at an angle, so it won't directly hit you like 12 o'clock sun on top. Evening also is nice. So, but if you even can expose to midday sun, it's still good. It won't kill you. Skin color. அதனால ஸ்கின் கலர் இருக்கு. நமக்கெல்லாம் ஸ்கின் கலர் இப்படி வருது இந்த சன்லைட், பிகாஸ் சன்லைட் only. You think Europeans are a different race? No, there is no sunlight all. That's why they are fair. We are dark because nature wants us to be dark because we have more melanin to protect our inner structures from this ultraviolet light. You simply look at Polynesian islands, upper Polynesian islands near America. They are big and they are white, absolutely white like Europeans. You come to melanin zones near somewhere in China area. They are still white, not very white, but they are okay. And then you come down to Micronesia, Ceylon, India, etc. in southern part. We are very dark, very very good, protects us. Sun doesn't kill you. Nature knows how to see. There is a nice thing. Who is feeding garden in the forest? There's a beautiful song in Kannada. I can't repeat that in Tamil. ಬೆಟ್ಟದ ತುದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿರೋ ವೃಕ್ಷವನ್ನು ಕಟ್ಟೆ ಎರೆದು ನೀರು ಎರೆದವರಾರು. Who gardens, who waters the tree there in the forest? Nobody. ಹುಟ್ಟಿಸಿದ ಸ್ವಾಮಿತ ಒಡೆಯನಾಗಿರೋರು. Why do you worry as long as nature knows how to protect that tree? You go to the redwood forest in America, there are trees which are 1,000 years old. You can carbonate them. 1,000 years old. Do you know how they are protected? Occasionally there will be wildfire in the forest. When the fire comes, lot of things get burnt, ashes come. So there are lot of nitrogen. You don't have to have fertilizer. But see how nature works. We killed all the germs, no? நீ அதுல பாக்குறிய கிருமி இருக்கு, அது கிருமி வரும், இது போட இந்த என்னவோ சோப் போடுவாங்க, அவங்க எல்லா கிருமி சத்து போயிடும். எல்லா கிருமி சத்து போனா நீ கூட சத்து போற. Because you are a germ. In your body, for every 9 cells of germs, your 1 cell is there. In your gene, there are 23,000 human genes, but 2.5 trillion germ genes. So we are germs actually. So when a doctor says, oh, appaku idha sikkinda unukku varudhu, poi appaku irundhu nee appavoda son illa, nee germoda son. Unukku appavoda koncha genes irukku, and the germoda nariya genes irukku. So we breathe germs, we live germs. Between the mouth and the anus, you got 10 to the power 13 germs. That is 100 trillion germs. And we give these antibiotics and kill the germs, and then simple bugs kill you. Today the treatment for that is, you know what? You will be shocked. American treatment, shit. You take human shit from another healthy person, 250 cc of good shit, emulsify it, put it in a rice tube, patient is all right in the evening. They have a name for that, fecal transplant. So American son is fecal transplant, ரொம்ப நல்லது. முரார்ஜி தேசாய் பிசு குடிச்சானா சிரிப்பாங்க இல்லையா? இப்போ அமெரிக்கால கொடுக்குறாங்க ஆட்டோ யூரின் தெரப்பி. Cow's urine is a patented there. So it must come from America, then it becomes scientific. If it is India, it is unscientific. Fecal transplant is a very big treatment now. It saves people, otherwise they die like flies in the intensive care unit. You go to the intensive care unit, feed the hospital's coffers, and then go up. Nobody goes straight now. They go via intensive care unit.
Morning, Doctor. My name is Anand. I'm Anand. Yeah, exactly. I'm practice a journalist. It is a small doubt. It is. It's actually a epilepsy type of disease. The Valippu Noi varudhu. Valippu Noi.
Epilepsy.
Epilepsy. See, most of the lot of persons, it's very small to even high level persons are affected. These things. Nowadays even. See, everybody is in the doctor, especially in the English medicine. They give variety of medicines in the very long period, even if it is 1 time or 2 times. But these persons are continuously don't miss anything. It's what you tell in the 1 hour before. See, if it is happen, originally the market rate also is very high. So the how the persons can understand this is for the 2 or 3 days problem will be in the lifelong disease, then there is a back effect also is there.
Good. Very good question. You are a very intelligent man, I tell you. உட்காருங்க, நான் சொல்றேன். Very interesting. See, epilepsy is a symptom. Fits ன்னு சொல்லுவோம் நம்ம. But that has got thousands of causes. Cancer in your brain can give you epilepsy. An infection in a part of the brain can give you epilepsy. Simple, in the worms, cysts in the brain can give you epilepsy. Lot of things. And when there is nothing wrong with the brain also, you can have a focus of electricity which discharges. All these epilepsies require treatment, though. Of course, it's true. As what you said is true. Even you made a very interesting point. ஒரு தடவை fits வந்தா lifelong கொடுப்பாங்க. But scientifically it shows if the fits doesn't come repeat for another 1 or 2 years, you should not give treatment. அது என்ன தெரியுமா, சிம்பிள் ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் இருக்கு, வெரி சீப் ட்ரீட்மெண்ட், அது கொடுக்க மாட்டாங்க. இப்ப எல்லாம் காஸ்ட்லி ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் தான் கொடுப்பாங்க. ரைட், நம்பர் 1. லாஸ்ட், having said all that, don't treat yourself because you don't. When patient should not treat, you must find out what is wrong. Something is wrong in the brain, then of course you have to treat that, not the fits. Suppose somebody has a stroke, he has to treat that. Suppose somebody has a cancer, that has to be treated, not the fits. Fits is a symptom, not a disease, number 1. But fitsக்கு இப்போ மருந்து இல்லாம ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் பண்ற மெத்தட் கூட இருக்கு. There are a lot of people researching. There is a man who has become now an Indian. He's an American professor of neurology in San Diego. அவன் பேரு டேவிட் ஷானனாஃப் கல்சான். டேவிட் ஷானனாஃப், SHANNOFF கல்சா. அவன் இப்ப சிக் ஆயிட்டான், ஒரு டர்பனல்ல போட்டு தாடியெல்லாம் வச்சு சிக் ஆயிட்டான். அவருக்கு சிக்கு குரு அவருக்கு இதை சொல்லி கொடுத்தாரு. அவன் ஒரு கிரியா யோகான்னு பண்ணுவான். And he is a neurologist. He is a professor of neurology in San Diego. He's written a lot of articles, lot of books, and he's going around the world lecturing. He has a Kriya Yoga for epilepsy. That is the epilepsy without a brain disease. புரிஞ்சுதா? அப்ப லைஃப் லாங் மறந்தே இருக்கணும்னு இல்லை. உங்களுக்கு வேணும்னா நீங்க எழுதுங்க, ஷானனாஃப் கல்சா எழுதிங்கன்னா, ஐ திங்க் ஷானனாஃப் கல்சா @gmail.com. இல்லைன்னா ஷானனாஃப் கல்சான்னு கூகுள்ல போடுங்க, வரும். அவனுடைய இதெல்லாம் வரும். நல்ல பையன். எஸ் சார். வெரி குட் கொஸ்டின். பட் நீங்க யூ ஆர் ஓல்ட் இனஃப் டு நோ, இந்த ஓல்டன் டேஸ் பாம்பு கடிச்சா போஸ்ட் இது ரயில்வே போஸ்ட் மாஸ்டருக்கு ஒரு டெலிகிராம் அனுப்பினா வருது. எப்படி தெரியுமா? 99.9% of the time when a poisonous snake bites you, there is no poison in the snake. Snake கண் இல்லை, அது அந்த டங், that is how it is finding its way, because snake eyes are on the sides, you can't see the forward. So anything comes, it bites that, whether it is a leaf or a stone or anything. So no snake can be not biting for a long time. When once it bites, the snake takes about a week for the poison to accumulate there again. So most of the time, 99.9% of the time, snake bite, people die only because of fear. So இது சொன்ன போஸ்ட் மாஸ்டருடைய டெலிகிராம் வந்த உடனே he is okay. அது பிளசிபோ எஃபெக்ட். பட் 0.1% of the time இந்த விஷயம் இருக்கு, அப்போ சத்து போறான். அப்ப சொல்றாங்க என்ன பண்றது, அந்த டெலிகிராம் கொஞ்சம் லேட்டா வந்தது, இல்லைன்னா சாவதியா இருப்பான். This is all placebo effect. இந்த கீ கொடுக்குறது அப்படிதான். கீ இல்ல, இரும்பு, ஏதாவது இரும்பு கவருக்கு அப்படி பிடிக்கணும்னு சொல்றாங்க. இதெல்லாம் மித்து, பட் பிளசிபோ எஃபெக்ட். பிகாஸ் ஃபிட்ஸ் சம்டைம்ஸ் செல்ஃப் கரெக்டிங், நத்திங் டு வரி. பிடிச்ச உடனே அது போயிடும். அந்த பிடிச்ச போயிடும் நினைச்சா போயிடும். That is called the placebo effect. ஹைனமன் வந்தார், இங்க கொப்பிக்கார் கூட வந்தார். புரிஞ்சுதா? ரைட்.
Small interruption. Deepan வந்திருக்காங்க. She is the one who was helping us a lot in book development, and the book has seen because of her help also. I just welcome her to the stage.
Good. Yes, when I was a house surgeon in the Stanley Hospital, before most of you were even conceived, not born, but even some of your parents were not born. We used to have a treatment for syphilis. Syphilis was the dangerous disease then. It's called Surgeon General, S and G, syphilis and gonorrhea. நமக்கு ஒரு ப்ரொஃபஸர் லண்டன்ல அவர் எப்பவும் சொல்லுவார், very interesting fellow. I'll come to that later. Our treatment for syphilis was அவருக்கு போகணுமா கேட்கணுமா சார்? நாம அங்க வர அங்க கேட்கலாம். வாட் வி யூஸ் டு டு இஸ், எதில் ஒரு ராவ் கடைன்னு ராவ்ஸ் கெஃபே, அங்க போய் பால் வாங்குறது. அந்த காலத்துல பால் இல்ல பாக்கெட்ல கிடைக்கிறது இல்ல, மாடு கொண்டு வந்து ஒரு பெரிய எதிரி கொஞ்சம் சூய் பண்ணுவான். ராவ் கடையில பால் கொண்டு வந்து we boil the milk, then take a syringe with a thick needle, take about 5 cc of the milk and inject it to these patients. ஒரு அரை மணிக்கு அப்புறம் he'll get 106 temperature அப்படியே வந்து, and all the syphilis dies. This is called fever therapy for diseases. This was written by Hippocrates, but a rascal called Zurek Wagner said he had started this fever therapy for syphilis treatment, and he produced a paper and wanted to get the Nobel Prize. This was in 1926. Wagner Zurek was his name. But in that committee of Nobel Prize, there was a doctor called Gladius. And Gladius knew this Wagner Zurek is a bluffer. He is a rascal. He is a scoundrel. இவன் என்ன பண்ணிருக்கான், இந்த ஃபீவர் எல்லாருக்கும் கொடுக்குறான். இவன் இந்த ஃபீவர் தெரப்பி என்ன கொடுக்கிறது, பால் இல்ல, மலேரியா parasite. So this fellow in Europe in the 19th century used to inject people with syphilis with malaria parasite. அந்த காலத்துல malaria parasiteல ஐயங்கார் நாடர் இவர்கள் இருக்காரு நமக்கு தெரியாது. ஒரு malaria parasite ஒன்னு தான். இப்போ we know there is a malarial parasite called falciparum malaria, which Europeans die 100% because they have no racial immunity. Without treatment they die. இவன் என்ன எல்லாருக்கும் falciparum கொடுத்தான். He treated 100 patients, 96 of them died. 4 patients recovered. அந்த காலத்துல GPI, general paresis insane, is a horrible disease. Fellows will go on Mount Road and immediately open their fly and piss in front of everybody. That kind of a thing they used to do. So இது கொஞ்ச improvement. இவன் என்ன பண்ணா, அந்த 96 report பண்ணவே இல்லை, இந்த 4 மாத்திரம் report பண்ண. This is how we report science today. Negative studies எல்லாம் suppress பண்ணி positive studies publish பண்ணுவான். இவன் போய் complain பண்ண, and he had friends there, so they wanted to give him the Nobel Prize, but Gladius stopped it. That year Gladius had a heart attack and he died. 27 ல பின்னி அப்ளை பண்ணான், அவருக்கு நோபல் பிரைஸ் கிடைச்சு தெரியுமா? பொய்க்கு தான் நோபல் பிரைஸ் கிடைக்கும். Wagner Zurek got the Nobel Prize for fever therapy in 1927. So concept, fever is good for body. Now when the fever comes, when you have an infection, because body wants the temperature for killing the germs. Suppose there is a fever, simple fever I'll tell you. There is a cold, common cold and feverish cold. The germs are different. Common cold is a common cold virus. Feverish cold is adenovirus. But treatment என்னன்னா, சும்மா 2 நாளைக்கு ரெஸ்ட் எடுத்துட்டு நல்ல தண்ணி எல்லாம் குடிச்சிட்டு just keep quiet, you're all right. Now you get a metacin tablet for the fever. When you lower the fever, body finds it very difficult to kill the germ. So if you take metacin for a feverish cold, you will be in bed for 10 days. And all other complications will come. Metacin itself will kill a lot of people. So fever is not bad. Don't run immediately and take the fever down, because fever is not a disease. Like sugar is not diabetes, fever is not fever. It can be typhoid fever, it can be malaria fever, it can be TB fever. You have to treat the disease and not the fever, and leave the fever alone. All that you have to do is, if the fever goes above 400, things like that, patients might get febrile fits. Fever is one of the causes of fits. So you lower the fever physiologically. How do you do that? Use some cold things in the cold sponging, tepid sponging. Patient is all right. But nobody does that because A, there is no money. B, it is cumbersome. You have to do a lot of work. யார் பண்ணுவா? இது ஒரு மெட்டாசின் கொடுத்துட்டா அவன் போயிட்டான். அவன் போனா இவனுக்கு இல்லை, இவ தூங்குறா, அவ சத்து வரா. So fever is not a disease. Don't. Fever is very good. Fever, body wants fever, and fever is there to help. That doesn't mean if you get fever, don't see a doctor at all and then get into problems. No, don't do that. Okay? See a good doctor when you get fever. Come to Singhvi Saab and say, I got fever. He'll say, Marda Rekadinga, I'll look after you, and you are all right. But don't sit at home and say, if you, especially if your child gets fever and say, illa Dr. Hegde சொன்னார் fever வந்து ஒண்ணு பண்ண வேண்டியதில்ல அப்படின், because for children fever is a very, see, it could be a serious problem because temperature going up, the child may get lot of fits and all. So don't do that. See a good doctor. That's why I said you must have a doctor, you must have a family friend who is a doctor, who's got a family doctor. And because he knows you, he can make an easy diagnosis. Sir, சொல்லுங்க. உட்கார்ந்து சொல்லுங்க.
I am 90 years old. I am not a BP patient. I am not a diabetic. Fortunately, I don't find any complaint in myself. Only sometimes my stomach gets bloated and gases pass. If the gas do not pass, I find a bit difficulty, uneasiness in the stomach. That's all. Many gastroenterologists are, and but they are not able to even make it go completely. That's the only trouble I have got.
Good, sir. Very good. Enna fantastic question. Answer is, you will live 100 years. If you had diabetes, if you had blood pressure, still you would have been alive at 90, provided you had not taken medicines. Good. Then you will live 150 years. Nothing will happen. In the gas irke, idella thalayila da irke. When the gut doesn't move properly, then you feel bloated. Adu gas illa. இப்ப மேல பண்றாங்களே, அது என்ன தெரியுமா? அது போனோம். இருங்க நான் சொல்றேன். Good. Very good. Nothing to worry. There isn't a disease called gas. No, there is no disease called gas. It depends on the food you take. But it depends on the food you take. Supposing you take some food with lot of these grains.
I maintain 58 kg for the next 8 years.
Good.
Not even a single kg for 6 years. The point is that my intake is also very good. And I take a cup of butter to be right. Sometimes it's a night, that's all. All that I get this done. I don't take like potato or anything for it to say. That's all I don't say. All that, this is the only complaint I have.
Very good. Now சொல்றேன் வரப்போ. As now your eyesight is not as good as. No, wait. That is because as a young man you were a mild myope which you didn't recognize, like Rajagopalachari. And as age advances, myopes don't need glasses. But your sight will not be as good as when you are 30. So your gut is not as good as when you are 30. So at 30, கீழே போயிட்டு இருந்தது அந்த கேஸ். இப்போ இந்த வயசுல அவ்வளவு போகாது. பயப்படாதீங்க. அது கேஸ் இருக்குன்னு நினைச்ச மாதிரி கஷ்டம். கேஸ் ஒண்ணு இல்லைன்னு நினைச்சிடுங்க. அப்புறம் கேஸுக்கு ஒரு சின்ன மருந்து கொடுக்குறேன். இந்த பச்சை வாழைக்காய் இருக்கேன், பச்சை வாழைக்காய் வாழைப்பழம் இல்லை, பச்சை வாழைக்காய். இந்த சமையல் பண்றோம் குக்கிங், வாழைக்காய் அது சின்ன கட் பண்ணி ஒரு 2-3 பீஸ் சாப்பிடுங்க, எல்லாம் கேஸ் சரியாயிடும். Green plantain, not banana. Correct. Fruit becomes banana. Green is called plantain. So green raw plantain, correct. அது நல்ல மருந்து, ரொம்ப நல்ல மருந்து. And this is very good. Your buttermilk has lot of cook பண்ண வேண்டாம். Impossible. எதுவும் cook பண்ணாதீங்க. You will live 140 years.
சார் வந்து Mr. Narayana Swami is 90 years. Why he is so hair and healthy அப்படினா?
I know.
Abundant universal love. He has been helping the community at large level. Is the proud grandfather of cricketer Ashwin. And இன்னைக்கு மார்னிங் எனக்கு வீடியோ பார்க்க வந்தாரு, இன்விடேஷன் பார்த்தாரு. he has been attending this meeting.
I didn't want to say that because you told me this earlier. Why he is healthy at 90 is he lives for others. Paropakaratham idam shariram. If you live for yourself, you will not live in 90s. Nature, in its own interest, wants people like him alive. Good, good, very good, very good. பரவாயில்ல கேக்குறதுமா. You want to ask about water therapy? சொல்லுங்க.
Some say you can drink lot of water. Some say you cannot drink because it is affecting the kidney. What is it? Can we drink any kind of water or should we drink only mineral water?
Okay. ரொம்ப நல்ல question. ஆமா, லைஃப்ல என்ன தெரியுமா? The mantra is moderation. Both views are wrong. வாட்டர் குடிக்காதீங்கன்னு சொல்றது wrong. சும்மா வாட்டர் குடிங்கன்னு சொல்றது wrong. You must have water. And there is nobody knows the limit. Each one person is different. But roughly 30 ml per kilogram body weight is the ideal amount of water. So if you are about 60 kilograms, you require 2 bottles of water. If you are 73, 2.5 bottles of water. That is, you must have that water every day because you are 95% of your molecules in the body are water. 78% of your body weight is water, which means you are water only. And everything, without water, nothing happens in the human body. And this water has to be replenished. So you every day drink enough water. What you do is, you drink it through only once. There are a lot of people saying, I will drink 2 liters in the morning. You drink about half a liter in the morning so that you can have good motion. Because there's stuff there which pushes the things down. Then you take 1 glass of water before every food. Before, not after. And by the evening, don't drink too much water after about 5 o'clock because night you have to get up to peace. So finish by about 5 o'clock. And when you go to bed, take about half a glass of water, if possible, warm water. And warm water any time of the day also is good. Better than hot water. There are a lot of things. As you said, see, he drinks warm water, then things get. புரிஞ்சுதா? சும்மா லோட் பண்ணாதீங்க. லோட் பண்ணா டைல்யூட் ஆயிடும். அம்மா, எந்த வாட்டர் குடிச்சாலும் பரவாயில்ல. அதுல டேப் வாட்டர்ல நல்லது இல்ல நினைச்சிட்டு குடிச்சீங்கன்னா சீக்கிரம். இந்த பாவ பசங்க எல்லாம் என்ன குடிக்கிறாங்கம்மா? The germs are our friends, ma. Germs don't kill you. Your body's immunity goes down, that kills. நீங்க அந்த பசங்க குடிக்கிறது பார்க்கணும். They did a study. கும்பமேளத்துல ஒரு அமெரிக்கன் யார் அமெரிக்கன் யார் தெரியுமா? மார்க் ட்வெயின். அவன் பார்த்தா முதல்ல அந்த கங்கா வாட்டர் குடிக்கவே பாடாது. 2 நாள் குடிக்கவே இல்லை. அதுக்கப்புறம் டெய்லி அதே குடிச்சான். Americans would have died. That to Mark Twain's time. He has written a beautiful book about Kumbh Mela. You must read that. Mark Twain, famous man. அவன் சொல்றா, see, they did lot of study on Ganges water, which is so polluted because these greedy people don't even burn the dead bodies completely. More firewood and half-burnt bodies they threw. But nobody dies from Ganges water. Do you know why? There are bacteriophages. This nature is fantastic. You have too many rats in your house if you don't have snakes around. If you kill all the snakes, rats will be so much that they not only eat your grain, they'll eat you. Because one female rat, one male rat put together, in 1 month there'll be millions, thousands of rats. That is their procreation capacity. You require take 9 months to produce 1 baby. They require only 9 minutes to produce 1 baby. And that is balanced in the nature by the snake, which eats it. Today, snakes are coming to eat you because they don't get rats in the thing and they don't get that frog. Ella idu pesticide போட்டு the frog எல்லாம் செத்து போச்சு. In the olden days when we were young, you go to so many frogs. Now I don't see frogs at all. They don't croak when the first rains come. இல்ல பண்ணிட்டே இருப்பாங்க. இப்போ இல்லவே இல்லை. நம்ம எல்லாம் கெடுத்துட்டோம். இந்த environment எல்லாம் கெடுத்துட்டோம். Don't worry, any water is all right. But if you think tap water is bad, don't drink it. Actually, I was drinking bottled water. This is worse than the tap water. என்ன பண்ணுவான்? இந்த tap water horrible water கொண்டு வந்து சும்மா ஆர்வ பண்ணுவான். For money, they don't even do that. Actually, they recently found out horrible germs in bottled water from big companies. யார் கம்பெனி பேர் மாத்திரம் போடுறது? இப்போ உங்க சாரியில பெரிய ஒரு பேர் இருக்கும். அது யாரோ பண்ணிருப்பான், அதுக்கு ஒரு பேர் போட்டு விற்கிறான். எல்லாம் உங்களுக்கு இந்த அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட் இல்லையமா எங்க வந்தது? நவ் we nobody takes ordinary water, they all want bottled water. Very soon they will now take air in a tube and give it to you for money. இப்போ இருக்கு O2 cups போய் அங்க ஆக்சிஜன் பண்ணி பணம். யூரோப்ல there are bars for mineral water bars where you go and ask for a peg of Perrier on the rocks, just a whiskey, and it costs more than whiskey. How these Americans, the business people, they buy a barrel of crude from Saudi Arabia for $10. They sell them a barrel of mineral water for $90. See, this is all business. It's all business. Business is cheating others. But ethical business is possible. Yes, ma. பாவம், நான் உங்க பார்க்கவே இல்லை, என்னமோ பேசிட்டு இருந்தேன்.
எங்களோட சில்ட்ரனோட பீடியாட்ரிஷியன் யூஸ் டு சே மில்க் இஸ் ஃபார் காஃப். ஸோ நீங்க வந்து வாங்குற மில்க் வந்து சில்ட்ரனுக்கு கொடுக்க வேண்டிய அவசியம் இல்லை. ஒன்லி மதர்ஸ் ஃபீடிங் இஸ் இனஃப் ஃபார் 11 months or whatever. So is it correct that milk is not really essential because nature says milk is for their calf? But should we take it? Is it essential?
Is it a fantastic question? யார் சொன்னாமா? உங்க சித்தப்பாவா?
Dr. Natarajan சொல்லிட்டு he was a
அவருக்கு ஒரு நோபல் பிரைஸ் கொடுக்கணுமா? உட்காருங்க. நட்ராஜன் கிட்ட சொல்லுங்க, உங்களுக்கு ஒரு நோபல் பிரைஸ் கொடுக்கணுமா? சி அம்மா, நேச்சர்ல நம்ம படிக்கணுமா? என்ன சயின்ஸ், நியூ சயின்ஸ் என்ன தெரியுமா? Not trying to teach nature a lesson or two as we were doing. நான் ஒரு ஆட்டம் பாம் பண்றேன், நான் ஒரு இது பண்றேன், என்ன மேல போறது, என்னது பிருத்வி பண்றேன், ராக்கெட் பண்றேன். நான் டெல்லிங் அப்துல் கலாம், என்ன ராக்கெட்ல இது நடக்குதா, என்ன சொல்றீங்க நீங்க? ஏன் அப்படி சொல்றீங்க? ஏன் அப்படி சொல்றீங்கன்னா அதனாலதான் இந்த நம்ம இந்த லெவலுக்கு வந்தோம். ஆமா, சயின்ஸ் மஸ்ட் பி டாட் ஃப்ரம் நேச்சர். இட்ஸ் கால்ட் பயோமிமிக்ரி. என்ன பேரு? பயோமிமிக்ரி. உங்களுக்கு ஒரு நான் சொல்றேன் பிஃபோர் ஐ ஆன்சர் யுவர் கொஸ்டின். அமெரிக்கால ஒரு பிளாக் பேர் இருக்கு, பிளாக் பேர். நீங்க கலிபோர்னியால போனா, நீங்க இந்த டூரிசம்க்கு போனா அந்த பிளாக் பேர் வரும். லுக்ஸ் ஹாரிபிள் பட் இட் டசன்ட் ஹார்ம் யூ அன்லெஸ் யூ ஹார்ம் இட். இட்ஸ் கால்ட் உரிசிடே. இது தூங்குறது. 6 months இட் ஸ்லீப்ஸ், ஹைபர்னேஷன். இப்ப நீங்க 6 months தூங்குனீங்கன்னா, சாப்பிடாம தண்ணி குடிக்காம ஒண்ணும் பண்ணாம தூங்குனீங்கன்னா நீங்க யூ வில் பி டெட். இந்த உரிசிடே you 6 months in between, if you wake it up, it is stronger than when it slept. It has not taken a drop of water, it has not taken a drop of food, it has not moved one muscle, but its muscles are stronger when it gets up. You sleep for 2 days in the hospital, then you can't walk for 2 days. இது என்ன தெரியுமா? Nature has a method of protecting it. And நம்ம எல்லாம் சும்மா தூங்குனா kidney function, your creatinine will go up, your urea will go up. This uricide, when it sleeps, if it is creatinine is 0.8, when it wakes up it is 0.6. So you must, if you learn this, somebody wanted to learn this, but nobody funds it, because if you do that, your dialysis unit will close. அது பணம், dialysis பணம். So இது called biomimicry. நான் உங்களுக்கு சொல்றேன், இந்த உலகத்துல no animal drinks the milk of another species. No, 2 animals do. Domesticated cat and domesticated dog. And domesticated cat lives half the lifespan of a normal forest cat. And domesticated dog lives for only 20 years. And a forest dog lives for 50 years because it drinks only dog's milk. So child which drinks cow's milk lives only for about 70-80 years. Cow which doesn't drink cow's milk, it lives for 100 years. புரிஞ்சுதா? அது ஒண்ணு. ரெண்டாவது, இந்த milk இருக்க foreign protein, அது it gets rejected by the body. It produces antibodies. One of the commonest causes of type 2 diabetes is drinking milk. நட்ராஜன் சொல்லுங்க, நம்ம யூ அண்ட் மீ வில் ரெக்கமெண்ட் him for a Nobel Prize. ரொம்ப நல்ல டாக்டர். அப்படி அந்த மாதிரி டாக்டர் இருக்காங்கன்னு எனக்கு ஆச்சரியம்.
To have a board in his clinic. My friends I used to recommend. Dr. Venkatraman is the person who recommended me to the pediatrician. அவர்கிட்ட போய் மத்தவங்க பார்க்கும்போது வேற ஒரு லாயர் சொன்னாங்க, அவர் வந்து மில்கே வேண்டான்றாரு, அப்படிப்பட்ட டாக்டர் என் குழந்தைங்களை கூட்டிட்டே போக வேண்டாம்னு சில பேர் போகாம இருக்காங்க. Like as you said, when we think that others are following it, we are happy about it.
No,
when others don't follow, we think it.
Now that you say, I will tell you a joke. In Mangalore, there is a very famous lawyer who is fully ethical, 100% ethical. நீங்க ஏதாவது கேஸ் கொண்டு போனா அவர் சொல்லுவாரு, அந்த ரெக்கார்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் விட்டுட்டு போங்க, 2 நாள் நான் பாக்குறேன், அதுக்கப்புறம் சொல்றேன். பணம் வாங்க மாட்டேன். பார்த்துட்டு 2 நாளுக்கு அப்புறம் சொல்றாரு, ஆமா இந்த கேஸ் வேண்டாமா, இது உங்களுக்கு கிடைக்க கூடாது, உங்க கசினுக்கு தான் இந்த ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி போகணும், அவர் தான் ரைட்டு. சார் எவ்வளவு பணம் வேணும் உங்களுக்கு கொடுக்குறேன், நீங்க நல்ல லாயர் இல்லையா, நீங்க லாயர் ஃபைட் பண்ணி அந்த ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி எனக்கு கொடுக்கணும். சார் உங்க கசினுக்கு போற ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி எப்படி உங்களுக்கு கொடுக்குது சார் அப்படின்னா. ஒரு நாளைக்கு அவன் சொன்னான, அப்படி இப்படி பார்த்தான், வெரி ரிச் மேன். Till now I was thinking only Dr. B.M. Hegde is mad. Now you are also mad. So Natarajan must be mad. அப்படி என்னம்மா சொல்லுங்க, உட்கார்ந்து சொல்லுங்கம்மா.
It's okay. For some women after certain age, all the bones will become weak and especially the joints. They say the osteoporosis and osteoarthritis. And if you go to allopathic doctor, they'll say you have to get operated for hips or knees like that. But is there any natural way of remedy pain without pain? Can they live by use alternative?
Very good, very good. Amma, diseases are difficult to cure, but they are very easy to prevent. So after you are 80 and get the joint completely gone, don't come and say, how do I now get rid of it? You must cut the joint. That's all what you can do. But no woman should ever suffer from any one of the things that you're talking if she follows 3 things. A, see, as age advances, 2 things deteriorate in the human body. One is joint mobility. Second is your vital capacity. Old people don't have much of vital capacity. இது ரெண்டும் நீங்க இந்தியன் philosophy பாத்தீங்கன்னா 2 things. A, Indian classical dance. If every girl in the school is taught dancing, not the rock dance, monkey மாதிரி jump பண்றாங்களே, அது இல்ல, real Indian classical dance and singing. அந்த ஆலாபனை இருக்கே, see your vital capacity. And joints, nothing happens to you. Plus, even now, you can improve your joint by not taking medicine, but by walking in the sun. நீங்க இந்த இவ்வளவு ட்ரெஸ் வேண்டாம், as minimal dress as possible in your own terrace where nobody needs to see you. Maybe an underwear and a brassiere, and sit there in the sun in the morning 2 hours, evenings 2 hours. You are young as 20 years. Just see.
I'm doing all the 5 things which you have already told.
You're a good girl.
But in spite
you are a very good girl, but
in spite of that, I'm unable to walk.
That is because you must have started doing it only after it became difficult for you to work.
No, sir. No, sir. From childhood, I was a sports girl.
Yeah.
I used to play tennis.
You answered your question. Sports girls have more joint problems, and sports persons have more joint problems than normal people. Because remember one thing, young lady. Human joint in the knee joint, it's like cow's knee joint. Cow and human joint is unstable joint. ஒரு bone மேல ஒரு bone கீழ ஒரு 4 rope வச்சிருக்காங்க 4 சைடுல, புரிஞ்சுதா? It's an unstable joint. With that you are not supposed to run, because when you walk with 2 feet, a cow can run, a dog can run, because there is 4 feet, 4 legs, and the center of gravity doesn't fall out. And if you run, a lot of people jog, jogging is killing oneself. There's a nice editorial with American Medical Journal editor, run to death. Never run, because you lose your center of gravity. Each time you just run like that, this center of gravity has fallen out, and you balance with your knee ligaments.
No, what about hip?
உட்காருங்கம்மா. அது கரல இப்ப நீல இருக்க, நீங்க ஹிப் போயிட்டீங்க. உங்களுக்கு பேஷன்ஸ் இல்ல. பேஷன்ஸ் தான் முக்கியம். என்ன தெரியுமா? பேஷன்ஸ். இப்ப நீ பத்தி சொல்றேன், அப்புறம் ஹிப் பத்தி அப்புறம் சொல்றேன். இது என்னாச்சு? Every sports person, you ask Tendulkar how many operations he had on his knee, how many operations he had on his ankle. Not now, even when he was young and playing. And all the players have had this problem, and they have to have a physiotherapist with them. They have to have a special sports medicine doctor in the team. And you have been running like a young girl, and you have been damaging your joint. It can't be undone. If you have been only walking, you would never come to this stage. Now, hip எப்படி தெரியுமா? அது ஒரு ball and socket joint. There is a socket, ball socket, in which there is a ball which is rotating like that. But socket is not complete, so it has to be very, it's only meant for walking. So you will be surprised if you have a video of your joint when you're walking and when you're running. If you see that, you will never allow your child to run.
But what is the remedy, sir, now?
Ippa remedy rumba easy. You still sit in the sun for a long time, expose your joint to the sun.
That I'm
and
doing.
Wait. I'll give you some simple remedy for the pain. You want pain relief? You know castor oil? Yeah. Buy some castor oil and buy a car cleaning thick cloth, muslin cloth. Dip that cloth in the castor oil. Squeeze the oil out and then tie that around your joint. Get your pressure cooker. And the whistle எடுத்துட்டு ஒரு ஸ்னக்லி ஃபிட்டிங் ரப்பர் டியூப் போடுங்க, ஒரு லாங் ரப்பர் டியூப். அந்த ப்ரெஷர் குக்கர்ல தண்ணி வச்சு பாயில் இட். யூ கெட் ஸ்டீம் கம்மிங் அவுட் இட் அதர் end. அந்த ஸ்டீமை இதுக்கு மேல கொடுங்க. And you see, twice a day you do that, your pain is gone. Don't take a painkiller. Painkiller kills.
Thank you.
That is for the sin you committed by being a sportswoman.
Doctor, good afternoon.
பசிக்குது. சொல்லுமா சுபா சொல்லு.
Vitamin supplements and vitamin D இது ரொம்ப காமனா பேசப்படுற.
Good. Fantastic questions. Vitamin supplements should never be taken by anybody who has 3 meals a day. Vitamin supplements are all right for those poor people, beggars who don't get a meal at all. That's all right, something. Vitamins are bad because they are artificial vitamins. This is called hormesis. I didn't want to say that. Actually, homeopathy is all hormesis. A small amount of any chemical is biopositive, good for the body. A larger amount of the same cap is very dangerous. That's why Heinemann's dilution, because it's hormesis. This whole hormesis is not taught in the chemistry class. You poi professor, Loyola College professor of chemistry, hormesis enna sir nu keluge. He won't tell you because it's not in our book. Because good things are all suppressed in science. Chumma edha solluvan. Ipo vitamins, lot of studies are done. There's the largest study called the Canadian Elderly Women Study. 50,000 women were studied in 2 groups. One group was given fruits and vegetables free by the government. Another multivitamin tablets. The multivitamin tablet eating group had 4 times more heart attack and they died 10 years before the other group. Number 1. Number 2, in the vitamin D irke, adu or pudiya or order. The company which is selling vitamin D, costly vitamin D, has designed that test. Just like the bone mineral density test. You are comparing your bone with a Caucasian 18-year-old girl's bone. How old are you? 19, eh? 20. So you go for bone density, you will be about 5% less. You are osteoporosis. If you want vitamin D, there is only one source. That's the beautiful vitamin D. Your friend, the sun, free. Sit in the sun, you get vitamin D. You take that artificial vitamin D, it doesn't become vitamin D at all. Only thing is you are paying a hefty sum for the injections. Don't do that. And don't take vitamins, multivitamins at all. The preservative alone will kill you. Because the capsule requires some phenol preservatives. Ade kodru. Ella chumma pada avaru kuduke namak kuduko research avadadu. And the vitamin pada ella inga kondu va. Research pannalam. Illa na chumma thonne rendu question kelungo. I like you because you are the. You don't have a pain in the neck. You are a pain in the neck. Purinjada? See, somebody who is tense gets tensed in the muscle here, headache he gets. Somebody who is tense and tensed at the bottom, he gets constipation. Somebody who is tense, who gets tense in the muscle in the abdomen, gets ulcer. Somebody who is tense, whose coronary artery go into spasm, he gets a heart attack. Somebody who is tense and doesn't know how to sit and look properly, gets muscles going to spasm. And the muscle going into spasm is what's giving you the pain. So the treatment for low lumbar pain and sacral pain now is not treatment, psychotherapy. Relax pandrathu. So you are a pain in the neck and if I get rid of that, you are okay. So the latest treatment in the Western medicine is psychotherapy. Shrinking your head, புரிஞ்சுதா? Each time your wife shouts at you or you shout at your wife, your muscle go into spasm. I mean, yeah, husband and wife have to fight. If you don't fight, you're not loving each other. But on the fight, you tense ஆகக்கூடாது. I always say there are 4 stages in marriage. First stage is husband speaks and the wife listens. Lasts for about honeymoon time, that's all. அதுக்கப்புறம் wife speaks and the husband listens. Last almost whole life. Then both speak and the neighbors listen. Last for a little. Then neither speaks and then the neighbors are doubting whether they're alive or dead. In the 4 stage, நீங்க எந்த ஸ்டேஜ் இருக்கீங்க எனக்கு தெரியாது. ஸ்பாண்டிலைட்டிஸ் வரக்கூடாது. ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கு. I didn't know this. It is called mother tongue because mother only speaks and the father doesn't speak. ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கு. ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கு. See, make people laugh. Laughter is the best medicine. When you laugh, you relax 152 muscles. But இது என்ன பண்றாங்க? I wrote a book, another book called Holistic Living. அதுல ஒரு சாப்டர் இருக்கு, laughter is the best medicine. ஒரு நாளைக்கு நான் குஜராத்ல இருந்தேன். I was going for a walk in a park in Ahmedabad. So there are a lot of people, sitting there. I said, what are these fools doing? So after some time, sometimes I do this adhika prasanga. So I went to them and said, what are you doing? Don't you know, this is laughter club. We all join here and we laugh because laughter is the best medicine. Who told you that? One B.M. Hegde's book. He is telling me. Then I said, in that case, you have not read the book properly. Because there it says further, laughter is the best medicine. But not laughing artificially. You must have spontaneous laughter. And don't laugh at others. Laugh at yourself or laugh with others. That laugh is good. So that's why I told them Spinoza's theory. Do not laugh at human action. Do not weep at human action. Do not hate human action, but understand human action. The minute you understand human action, you don't hate nobody. But you must laugh with others. And laugh loudly. It's such a stress relaxant, I tell you. The louder you laugh, the better it is. But it was spontaneous laughter. And you laugh with someone. And you should be able to laugh even at the face of real problem. That is the highest level of relaxation. Atha Rudyard Kipling சொன்னான், treat triumph and disaster, the two imposters, just the same. So nice. Walk with the kings, but still keep your common touch. Mix with the crowd, but still keep your virtue. And the forgiving minute, unforgiving minute, fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run. You shall be a man, my son, and more. This earth shall belong to you. It's a poem called If I F. This is a poem written by Rudyard Kipling after he went back from India. He stayed in Punjab for 8 years, studied Indian philosophy and went back and wrote this poem. Today the poem is polled in England by the Oxford University. Against Shakespeare, Yeats, Keats, everybody. This If poem got 60,000 votes of 100,000 votes. Fantastic poem. It's all Indian philosophy. It's like management college. Stephen Covey's 7 problems. அது என்ன தெரியுமா? சேம் உபனிஷத் 7 all the 7 points are there. பகவத்கீதையில் இருக்கு, குரான்ல இருக்கு, பைபிள்ல இருக்கு. அது ஒரு பெரிய ப்ராப்ளம் இல்லை. இது ஆல் குட் திங்ஸ். யூ பி a good human being, you are everything good about you. அவ்வளவுதான், சிம்பிள். யூ பி a good human being like our young man. இனி காலையில் கூட அவர் போற வேற for someone else. He didn't go for himself. And he told our friend, நீ பண்ணணும், இது பண்ணிதான் ஆகணும். சார் முடியாது, முடியாதுன்னு இல்லை, பண்ணணும். Because it's not for him. When you go to ask something for someone else, you can fight with the person. Fight for a good cause. நீங்க நான் சொன்னதெல்லாம் பண்ணுங்க, இன்னொரு 40 வருஷம் இருப்பீங்க. வாழைக்க மாத்திரம் இல்ல, shall we call it a day? Actually, I must tell you something. Amma, 1 minute. You know, in the olden days, in England, doctors were not supposed to charge patients. Correct? Doctor was not supposed to charge patients. And there were no hospitals before the 18th century. So the doctors used to go to patient's house. When you go to examine a patient, you first thank the house people for giving you an opportunity to help another human being. Now after you see the patient, you go to wash the hands in the wash basin. If the house is wealthy enough, there will be 3 gold coins kept. They are called shillings. They are called, what's that called? Yeah, shilling. Each shilling is a pound and 1 pence. That is gold coin. So 3 shillings. So you wash your hands, pocket that and go home, thank them again. Supposing you go there to wash hands, there is nothing on the wash basin, which means that household is poor, they can't afford it. So you wash your hands, go back and again thank them because God has given you an opportunity to help a person who is less fortunate. So today, you should not thank me, I should thank you because this was some philosophy I want to sell to as many people as possible. So you have been here, no, who will come to hear idiots like that? Speaking is very easy, listening is very difficult. You sat very quietly and asked so many questions, etc. So I must thank you, number one. And there is a beautiful saying in the rabbi, in Jewish, it says, Rabbi Akabi was a great rabbi who wrote, more than the calf yearns to suck, does this cow yearn to suckle? Did you get that? More than the calf yearns to suck, this cow yearns to suckle. So thank you for listening.